Steve, the other day you announced your Halifax book tour appearance.
Yes, book tour.
We received 2 emails
Okay.
from concerned people from Halifax.
Got it.
I'm behind on episodes, so you may have already caught this, but in case you didn't, I was just listening to the beginning of the October 29th SDP episode where Steve and Adam are discussing Steve's Halifax book tour appearance locations, and you mentioned Indigo on Spring Garden Road. This is from Jack. I live off Spring Garden, and to my knowledge, there isn't an Indigo retail location there. There is, however, a company that runs parking garages called Indigo, and they have a Spring Garden location. Just wanted to flag in case no one else has. Didn't want Steve to end up in Four Seasons total landscaping situation. Have a good one, Jack. Other email.
That's the address I was given.
Other email from Scott. Hey, on the most recent show, you mentioned your Halifax book signing would take place at an Indigo on Spring Garden Road. The Indigo on Spring Garden Road is an Indigo parking garage. Your Halifax event is scheduled at the Chapters on Chain Lake Drive.
That's
and your
the one.
Dartmouth event is scheduled at the Indigo in Micmac Mall. Thanks. Looking forward to seeing you.
That is
Scott.
hilarious.
So,
Scott and Jack, thank you for emailing in from Halifax, correcting Steve that hopefully he doesn't show up at a parking garage.
I used to live near Chain Lake Drive in Bears Lake. That's Bears Lake. I mentioned that mall. I used to.
Parking garage.
Well, it's like a strip. It's like more of a strip mall. But yes, I used to live there. It was Clayton Park, baby.
Oh, damn it! That's the
where I used to live.
I didn't just look it up. So wait, where? Oh, for God's sake.
Next episode on Monday, you're gonna come back with the right details. Okay? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Is that they gave out where the actual? I can read it again. Where Scott said the actual Indigo event is, your Halifax event is scheduled at Chapters on Chain Lake Drive, and your Dartmouth event is scheduled at Indigo and Micmac Mall, according to Scott. But you need to confirm with your publisher which the actual Indigos are. But I assume Scott knows where the Indigos are in his town.
Okay. Halifax Chapters.
Cool.
This is on their Facebook.
Yep.
This is the 188 Chain Lake Drive.
Yeah. So Scott, you nailed it.
Oh shit!
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, that's funny.
Steve, please give out the right address to everybody. You already told where it is.
188 Chain Lake Drive, everybody.
All right, shall we get to the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right. All right. Yes, Jesse's got the heart. So, anybody that doesn't know what Jesse is holding up there, and anybody listening, there is a piece of, it's just a piece of wood, and it says hard on it.
Hard.
And the reason it says hard on it is that
You keep saying hard on it.
hard on wood. The reason that
Boner.
the reason that we're making boon jokes to start the show is that at our event on Sunday night in Oshawa, we had somebody bring us this that they made on their patio. Now, what's interesting about this is there was obviously a chain that we made fun of. Well, not made fun of. We laughed with, I think. It's hilarious.
No, we shouted out the Minnesota Wild, who are the best dude bros ever, because they made a chain that said hard, and every time somebody's the player of the game, they got to put on a chain that says I'm hard.
Yeah.
And they're the hard player of the game.
So I think what we need to do with that is we need to have like a chain with it, and then we assign it to whoever is the most insane fan at one of our live shows. You get the hard chain.
You're the hardest fan of the show.
Yeah. So anyway, by the way, the name of the person is on the back, and you know how bad I
Evan.
names. Evan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan.
Evan made this on his balcony. He made 2, actually. He made one for us and then one that we could sign, and then he has one.
Yeah.
So, shout out Evan.
And we signed it, and then he's like, Mad Dog, get over here.
Yeah, Maddie signed it as well. But, apparently it was really hard to make the stencil. And,
I
there was
bet.
a couple different trials of getting the right stencil and all this stuff. And, shout out you, Evan. You did a fantastic job with it.
You know, he spent like a full
day.
day of like his weekend doing that.
Yeah,
I was like, man, that's so cool. Thank you for doing that.
Just to be so hard.
Yeah.
Just to be friggin' turgid. Let's go.
Anyway, that's Jesse has it now standing on the end of the table. You know that the first time Steve loses it today, it's fallen down. Sorry.
I'm excited for that moment.
Sorry in advance to Subwoofer Guy.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not.
Yesterday, first off, I should mention that we have a live show coming up on Tuesday, November the 12th. Yesterday at the Shoeless Joe's at 249 Queens Quay, Jesse, you did a little site check.
Yeah, I was down there. I met Birdie. who runs the place. Shout out Birdie. And I got to try one of the menu items because I sat down. I was like, oh, I'll have lunch here too since I'm here. And they have, which I didn't know that Shoeless Joe's makes, a chicken cordon bleu.
Oh, really?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I love chicken cordon bleu. Are you serious?
I saw it on the menu. I was like, this is serious? You guys make this? And they're like, yeah, we make this. And it was fantastic.
What is a chicken cordon bleu?
I will look up.
I know of it.
Yeah, so it was like, it's panko chicken. They did it, and so slightly breaded, and then it was sliced over a bed of mashed potatoes with cheddar cheese and maple bacon sauce. And it was, so like, I'm serious right now. It's unbelievable. And then I also got it because this is how it comes with a side of vegetables. You can get roasted vegetables, but you can also switch out that side if you're more of like a fries guy.
Yeah. Oh. And here you go. A cordon bleu or a schnitzel cordon bleu is a dish of meat, in this case chicken, wrapped around cheese and with ham on the inside as well.
Yeah.
And then breaded and pan fried or deep fried.
Yeah. It was, the sauce that comes next to it was fantastic. I just kept, when you just mince the chicken in the sauce, rub it all over, and the chicken gets all saucy. Kept doing that over and over until there was nothing left. Almost licked the plate. Then the mashed potatoes were very creamy, and the vegetables very nice, nice roasted.
That would be Alex Feinberg, head of the head chef at Foodtastic / Shoeless Joe's, who came up with that. He's a big SDP listener, and he loves to, basically he creates all this stuff in his kitchen.
Yeah.
At home in, I believe in like the Kitchener-Waterloo area. And then he's like, and then he brings them, and he's like, this is going to be on our fall menu. And that's...
I want you guys, the day we have the event, to order it and just try it.
Chicken cordon bleu?
Yeah.
From Shoeless
You didn't have to ask me to,
do it.
You didn't have to ask me to. I'm doing it. So we'll see you there. Tickets are $10. You can buy a ticket for a guaranteed spot now, or you can just pay at the door. And we'll see you there November 12th. That's pre-Leafs Sens game. And remember, Shoeless Joe's is the place to go at Queens Quay before and after the game, because you can go there for a drink or whatever. Easy walk over to the arena. But then after the game, and it's all the arenas, right? Like Rogers is right there too, right? You can see a Blue Jays game there.
Which one?
Yeah. Rogers.
Vancouver?
Yeah.
Edmonton? The other ones?
And or Downsview Park next summer.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Rogers Stadium. I think that's what it's called.
Who knows?
Rogers.
To go see Oasis, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, it's all there. And you can go after the game as well. They have big game day experiences, sports watching, multiple screens. You'll never miss a play at Shoeless Joe's. Ever. Never in your life. You'll never miss it again, but don't leave.
Please wear shoes.
Yes. Very, very important. Now.
That was... Your dad is just, is just
Thank
coming out of you.
No, it's crazy.
You're acting like that's an insult.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now listen. We have a thing on this show, and it dates back to when Thomas Vanek was dealt by the Buffalo Sabres. It's a long, long time ago. The show's been on the air for a while. And the thing is that we talk about something that may or may not happen. And immediately, and we go in depth about what happens if it doesn't happen. And then immediately after the show is put out, the thing that we talked about for a good chunk of the episode happens. Last episode, we went in depth on, hey, what if the Leafs kept Timothy Liljegren? What would that look like? What are they really going to trade him for? Olli Määttä only got a third. Olli Määttä got a third, though. That's pretty good. Could the Leafs get that for Liljegren? He's only played one game this year. And we found out Timothy Liljegren was traded to the San Jose Sharks for a 3rd and 25, a 6th and 26, which makes them easy to remember. Both of those picks way better than that Montreal 2026 second-round pick. I'm just throwing that out there.
That's not true.
And Matt Benning as well, who's played over 440 games in the NHL. Right shot defenseman, big guy, just had hip surgery, 30 years old. He's a guy that actually the Leafs were interested in like 5 years ago to acquire as like a depth piece at the deadline.
Yeah. A hip surgery will change things.
Sure. Sure. But I think he was thrown in there to help make the money work a little bit.
Yeah.
They can bury the majority of his contract. I think he makes 1.25. They can bury 1.1 of that.
I think at this stage in both of their careers, I'd rather have Connor Timmins, but whatever.
Sure.
They mentioned yesterday that Benning could get flipped.
Yes, he might.
knows?
CJ Show did mention that. And until he is flipped, he will wear number 55, last worn by Mark Giordano.
Oh, CJ Show mentioned that he could get flipped?
Yeah.
Oh, forget the TSN part.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that's the only place I heard it was on the CJ Show.
So he could get flipped because the Leafs in this trade, they freed up some cap space if they send Benning down, but they also didn't free up any roster spots because they took a player back, and now they've assigned Hakanpää and Dewar to conditioning stints, so they've delayed the return of those two gentlemen a little bit here, but eventually they're going to need a roster spot, so something's afoot.
And conditioning stints are 2 weeks, so we may not know about this until 2 weeks from now.
That's right.
Right? So it could be a while.
They keep here.
I think what we should do on day 13 is go in depth about it and then watch them.
Metal clinking against concrete? That's them kicking the can down the road.
I like that.
Just another couple of weeks.
Yes, they're good at that.
In the immortal words of Lou Lamoriello, if you have the time, use it.
Sign it to 7 years.
Yeah, sign it.
If you have time,
make
sign
sure
it
that
to
you
7
get more
years.
time. So
Send
much
it
more
to
time.
the minors.
So Timothy Liljegren, and it was interesting to hear Craig Berube talk about it because Tim's agent was interviewed, and Craig Berube said this: looking back at training camp, I think guys just outplayed him a little bit. He's got the ability; he can skate and move the puck. I wish him all the best. It just didn't work out here. That's the best way I can put it. And his agent kind of spoke about it and said that it was stressful, that it was, packing things up. But at the same time, he probably wanted this. His agent confirmed he wanted this. And you're still shaken by the phone call when you get traded, I think. I don't think that part's easy. But I think that this instantly puts him in top 4, if not top 2 territory.
Oh, yeah.
In San Jose. And if he can or if he can't, we'll know.
Yeah, I mean, I get sad. Every time someone who's been with the Leafs for a while,
drafted, developed,
I get sad. And this is a trade that I wanted to happen, and the Leafs got way more for him than I thought, obviously based on last show. So why am I sad? I don't know. I just feel like
you're sad at the lost opportunity for both sides.
Yes, that's 100% it for both sides. I feel. There's regret to go around. And I also love how classy he was about it. The agent did say one thing that I think we'll probably get to about, the Leafs not exactly liking him, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But he was honest. He didn't play well enough. They developed him, won a Calder Cup here, which meant something to me. I think a lot of this got set into motion when Rasmus Sandin got traded. I think that broke his heart a little bit. It's also kind of heartbreaking that this contingent of the Swedish takeover that the Leafs sort of had in their prospect pool for a while is sort of over. It was Willie, it was Sandin, it was Engvall, it was Liljegren, it was Dmitry Timashov was part of that for a while as well. I'm trying to think of other guys I might have missed. It just, I don't know, it made me sad for the guy, but objectively, this is the right move for both teams. The Leafs were not going to use him. Mm-hmm. He lost his spot in camp. He did poorly.
Yeah.
I did say something in the LFR that I rubbed some people the wrong way, but I'm going to stand by it. And let me explain it.
Controversial Steve?
No, let me because I said he had 2 coaches and 2 GMs who he lost favor with. And I stand by that. It's totally true. He had Dubas and he had Keefe, and he obviously fell out of favor with Keefe. Or at very least, Keefe didn't play him every single game. It was crazy to me that even up until last year, he hadn't played himself into a position where he's playing absolutely every night. Dude, you can't be getting taken out. At $3 million, you definitely can't be getting taken out. And then Brad Treliving has had him for over a year. And then I said Craig Berube. And people were like, well, geez, that's a bit tough. No. You have the whatever it is 2-3 weeks in camp and in spring not spring training, in preseason to impress them and be like, here's why I should be here. He did the opposite of that, and it wasn't just me and it wasn't just Craig, and Justin Bourne, I remember, and maybe not everyone saw it because it was a preseason game, had a great intermission breakdown on Sportsnet where he was just like, I'm not impressed with this player. He's making bad decisions. You don't want him out there when you have a lead. You don't want him out there when you're behind.
Yeah.
So what do you do here? Right? So if Liljegren at 25 years old really develops into his own in San Jose, one, no one will be surprised. And two, I really think it needs to be remembered that he's not in Toronto anymore for a reason.
Yeah. And no, I think to support your point, Craig Berube has been here a little bit now. Like he's had the full training camp.
Couple months.
And he's had a couple of games. And Nick Robertson did the exact opposite of Timothy Liljegren. Like there is an example of what you can do when given an opportunity. He hasn't been producing on the stat sheet, but what he did in preseason and training camp is he worked really hard. He put up points there, but the hard work and the mentality and just the skill he displayed during that period allowed him to gain favor with the coach. And now the coach trusts him to be there in big moments.
It's
and
earned
to
him
be
some
on
rope.
this team.
It's earned him some rope.
Exactly. And Liljegren had that opportunity time and time again with the Leafs because he's been here for a while. And with this head coach, he could have performed better in preseason. And at the beginning of the season, like he wasn't given that opportunity because he wasn't good then. And that's his own play. It's not on management that he didn't earn that spot.
The money factors in. And, like, I don't know if Timmins is miles better than Liljegren, but the problem is Timmins makes less than half.
Here's what Peter Wallen, who is Liljegren's agent, had to say that Steve alluded to. He said, he's always been on alert somehow. He's always needed to prove himself to the Leafs. We always felt they didn't really, really like him. They liked him, but they didn't love him. I don't know. And so...
that's not the kind of player you need. Like, can you read the quote again?
He's always been on alert somehow. He's always needed to prove himself to the Leafs. We always felt they didn't really like him. They liked him, but they didn't love him. I don't know.
This is the National Hockey League.
Yeah, and
like what?
That's us. You always need to prove yourself.
Yeah. What are you talking about? They spent a first-round pick on you. They brought you to North America immediately.
Yeah.
You won a Calder Cup with them. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like over the years we didn't go, dude, what the hell? Like, what does Liljegren got to do to be playing games over Justin Hall? And there were times where he 1,000,000% deserved to be playing games over Hall where he wasn't. And I can understand how that might screw with the person's confidence. And it's not like I don't ever have like questions of confidence in myself, but like the best athletes in this sport have a deeply ingrained belief in themselves that gets them over the top.
Also, I'm never going to fault any agent for defending their
Hell no.
Saying something publicly that supports their player, just pencil that in. They're going to do that. So I think that makes sense.
And that's as gentle a criticism of the Leafs as I've ever heard an agent say, but maybe that's just because we hang out with Walsh.
And he's also being paid to say things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's his job.
Yeah.
And
Timothy Liljegren.
Let someone I know make $3 million and employ me. I will defend the hell out of them. Are you kidding?
Timothy Liljegren was drafted ahead of Josh Norris, Robert Thomas, Philip Hedl, Jake Ottinger. Even Morgan Frost.
Here, give me a defenseman. Right?
A defenseman?
Yeah, because all those guys.
So he was drafted just after Juuso Välimäki, Eric Brandstrom, and Cal Foote. So the draft was going all defense at that point. So from 15 to 18.
I'm not going to lie. He worked out better than most of the names you just mentioned.
Olivier Joseph was drafted after him. Henry Yoki-Haru in Chicago. He's okay. He's played a lot more games. Connor Timmins in first pick of the second round.
Actually, that's hilarious. Okay.
Nicholas Hague in Vegas, third pick.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Hague, yeah.
Gustav Lindstrom.
But then how far down are you going now?
You're going far. But what's interesting, though, is that Mario Ferraro was picked 49th, which would have been great. Okay. I look at the Leafs here and go, okay, he was supposed to go top 5. That was a shock that he fell that far.
They made the right pick.
You had to try.
Considering they got William Nylander. I discovered this or reminded myself of this while shooting the Liljegren trade video. The Leafs' first round picks go as follows: 2014 William Nylander, 2015 Mitch Marner, 2016 Austin Matthews, 2017 Timothy Liljegren. right? So we're looking at this rebuild, and you might look at that and go, oh, just get the best player, get the best forward. Dude, like 2012 was Morgan Riley. That was the last defenseman they picked first round. Then it was Freddie the Goat, Willie, Mitch, Austin, even like Korshkov was first pick of the second round in 2016. It's all
because they
forward.
were daft in the way they drafted for a while there. The Mark Hunter drafts were not very good.
Well, it was,
despite what was propagated by one member of the media that people swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Outside of the first rounds, Mark Hunter didn't have a great draft record here. And guys like who you just mentioned, Korshkov. Like, what do we?
Well, what was the stat that went around? I think it was Josh Clokey. Like out of the 2017 and 18 drafts, the only guy left is Pontus Holmberg or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really not good. But they needed a defenseman. And how long have they needed a right-handed defenseman? It's the 2017 draft. We just watched Erik Karlsson basically Hercules the Sens to nearly the Stanley Cup final. And this kid falls into the Leafs' laps at 17, and we're like, well, you're not going to take him.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. He was the right pick.
Yep. And
I think things can not work out and it still be the right decision at the time.
And I think that the agent saying the Leafs liked him but they didn't love him, I think it was because in big moments he made big mistakes. And at the beginning of last season, Steve took a lot of heat, and I think this is worth bringing up, for saying we got to find out what Timothy Liljegren is. Are you a top four defenseman or are you waiver guy? And the reality is, we still don't know the answer to that. We don't even, it's not that, I don't think he's quite waiver guy.
I'm pretty confident. Like, this is a great, I like the draft capital the Leafs got. This is frigging great for Liljegren's career.
Yes.
So I'm confident he will not be waiver guy for at least a few years. Like, even if things don't work out, right? Here, he was dangerously close to being waiver guy. If he didn't make $3 million, he 1,000,000% would have been waiver guy. If he didn't shoot right-handed, he would have been waiver guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh well, like
it happens.
I don't begrudge that. Like, a lot of people like this guy. He had a lot of good numbers in sheltered third pair minutes, and he was the king of giving you 2 weeks of this guy's going to be a god hockey. And then he'd get exposed. Like, he was one of many prospects over the Matthews era who would tease you and tantalize you and sink more than swim more often than not over the long term.
Right.
A lot of defensemen like that.
So the deal has happened. Matt Benning is a Leaf. The third and the sixth rounders are Leaf picks. And I would imagine that third round becomes pretty valuable come trade deadline.
Yeah. I in my video, I went over like some of the trades that were made at last year's deadline. Vladimir Tarasenko, who won a cup with the Panthers, was had for a third and a fourth. Carolina got Lyubushkin for a third. Tyler Toffoli went to the Jets for a second and a third.
Carolina got Lyubushkin for a third? I thought he was a Leaf.
Not last year. Wait, or was it last year? No. Huh?
Wasn't Bush a Leaf? Am I losing my mind?
Maybe I'm wrong.
What did you say, Steve?
I can't. I said Lyubushkin to the Hurricane.
Wasn't Lyubushkin a Leaf? Like,
maybe I misread the thing that I saw. Anyway, Jesse will look that up. Joel Edmondson was a third and a fifth.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, is that going to get you a superstar at the deadline? No, but it's just something that helps you along the way.
Yeah, Lyubushkin never played for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he was on the Leafs last year.
Yeah.
I know people are like, can you take 20 seconds to Google things? But like, it's 20 seconds times 100.
Yeah.
You don't realize how many things are said. I fucked up. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, Steve, you should live in that sheet forever.
I will.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. The point is that, when we've got...
It was a third, though, wasn't it? I don't know.
Probably was. The point is, I
history.
think the Leafs went into this year thinking, we hope that we don't have to make a move at the deadline for a defenseman, a depth defenseman. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think if they're going to make a move for anything, it's going to be a center. I think they're making a move for a center at some point, unless Domi's looked pretty good with on that third line. I think he's probably better suited at the wing, but I will take I will take that. I would love for them to add to depth scoring at the deadline.
Steve,
Yes.
let's clarify and give you some credit. Because he kind of was a Hurricane. The Ducks acquired Kirill Sleps from the Hurricanes for Lyubushkin, who then they flipped to Toronto for a 6th round pick. So the way that Toronto got Ilya Lyubushkin last February was in a 3-way deal via the Carolina Hurricanes. But no third was involved there.
I used NHLTradeTracker.com, which separated all of it. So maybe I just misread it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no third, but he came to the Leafs via the Hurricanes. There you go. There's something.
And I dropped my poppy. This is a
Oh man!
catastrophe.
Wow!
First one. How long did it take?
Disrespectful of the veterans. Can you imagine?
I don't know where it is.
Okay, you just
Here, watch this.
I'll
Watch
set up
this.
the next topic. Topic.
Lumos.
Here you go.
BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League, and on Monday's big story, the BetMGM big story, we do it every Monday. We were talking about Marc-Andre Fleury returning to Pittsburgh and starting his last game there. And Jesse asked us a question, which was,
I asked Steve and Adam, hey, the over-under for saves in Marc-Andre Fleury's final game in Pittsburgh is 27.5. Are you taking the over and the under? Steve, what did you say?
I said over, baby.
Adam, what did you say?
I believe I said over.
You both took the over, and then I said, that means the under's going to hit, and I'm taking the under. Marc-Andre Fleury, in Monday's game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, faced 29 shots and made 26 saves. The under hit. Don't listen to these two buccos when it comes to over-under.
One off.
No, 2. He would need to make 2.
Yeah.
Shut up.
BetMGM, listen, has something for every hockey fan, and you're sure to embarrass your friends at one point or another. Download the app today and find out why BetMGM is not only an official sports betting partner of the NHL in Canada, they're also the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age or older to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. So before the game yesterday, William Nylander told the media that he's trying to speak Craig Berube, giving him more time on the ice into existence. His ice time is down 2 minutes a game currently versus what it was last year. And it's interesting because he's been very, very, very good. Currently, he leads the Maple Leafs in goals, points, plus minus, and game winners, which I think is important. Plus minus less important, but 8 goals, 12 points, plus 7, 2 game winners. Not bad.
No, could be worse.
Could be way worse. He could be not scoring like that, and we could be in trouble, and that Tavares line would not be working out.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. Yesterday, he had a great offensive game, but he had some bad defensive gaffes.
Yes.
And
what year is this?
I know.
Right.
And it was interesting because, they were trying to get him the goal at the end of the game. And I thought, and we'll talk about the Leafs generally, but I wanted to start with Nylander because he made the headlines. The Leafs played a really complete game. Mm-hmm. And the guy that got shouted at the most for the bad giveaways, first off, the bad penalty hand over puck, can't do that.
Oh, that was so dumb.
So dumb.
I forgot to mention it in the LFR.
And then the giveaway where Berube yells at him when he comes back to the bench.
He needs to be. He's always. I don't know why people are acting surprised. Mm-hmm. He's always been the kind of player who needs to be grabbed by the collar a little bit sometimes and woken up. Like, he's out there. He's so talented that he could effortlessly go out there and get 3 points and get 2 goals and probably be the game's MVP. Like, Riley got the team belt last night, and I'm pretty sure that's because Willie had it from the game before.
Yeah.
And he gave it to Riley for setting him up with a nice pass for a goal.
Tavares had it the game before.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then Tavares.
Because he had the hat trick, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But Willie had a really good game, too. The whole line had a really good game. Back-to-back really good games for that line. The only season in recent memory, I can't really think of Willie needing to be like slapped awake by his coach, almost always Sheldon Keefe, was last year. And that might have had something to do with the generational wealth contract, the largest contract in Toronto Maple Leafs history that was potentially looming if he did a good job. So he's obviously great. He's great. William Nylander is capable of better. I got to remind everyone of the way we were talking about Willie last year coming out of Sweden. Heading into Sweden, he was doing very well. In Sweden, he might have been their best player. And
he was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in the month or so that followed, we were like, this guy is one of the best players in the National Hockey League right now. And that's not how we spoke about him before. He's one of the best Leafs.
He's the third best forward on the team.
Is he or isn't he better than Marner? You know? Yeah.
But even that was mostly, Marner's better. Up until last year,
100%.
that's what it was.
And any other recollection of that is revisionist history, right? It wasn't until last year we were like, oh, I think one might be better than the other, and it's opposite of what we thought, right? He's capable of being one of the best players in the National Hockey League, and Craig Berube's job, beyond X's and O's, is to bring out the best in his players. William Nylander, in some ways, is his greatest challenge. Like, here it is. If you do a good enough job, this guy is not only going to be one of the best players in the NHL for you, he's also going to be your best playoff performer. And we know that because he consistently has been. He's his greatest challenge in some ways.
Yeah.
Berube's got a job to do, and he's doing it. Let him cook.
Yep.
Cool
Absolutely. Worth mentioning, Max Pacioretty has 4 points in his last 2 games. Last night, guys, he hit a career high, which he's only done twice. 7 hits.
Dude, I didn't know he was like this.
Well, he talked about it before the game like it was an adjustment that he made, right? But I'm going to send Jesse over this hit, and I think you guys will remember this, where he put one of the Kraken players into the bench, and
he said, "Look out! There's a new Leaf in town." Leaf legend Jared McCann.
I have to say, it was really nice not to get lit up by a former Leaf last night.
Oh, it was so great. Good, so good.
Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel?
Yeah,
great?
They're just lucky Yarncroke wasn't in the lineup, or it would have been worse.
Right.
Yeah,
but
Kraken legend Kelly Yarncroke.
I think so there was this hit, and then there was this play.
Pause it on the moment he bends in half.
Yeah, because it's not a fun bend. That feels like it hurts. Feels like this hurts.
It looks like it hurts.
Look at him.
Oh my God.
It looks like one of those Halloween decorations where there's 2 legs just hanging out the back of a truck somewhere. You know what I mean?
No one knows it's coming. Like, I think that's Tanev on the bench. He's like, oh, Jesus, Max. That looks like Bobby McMahon. I'm not sure. Or Benny?
Yeah.
I'm not, like, everyone looks shocked except for Willie, who doesn't give a shit. And McCann is not anticipating this check coming at all.
Right. And I find what I found interesting in the way Max has handled this is he's not going to like lay you out the way Jake McCabe will. So what he does is he'll hit like a shoulder, and that's heavy enough. Well, except for this. But if you're in a corner, you're playing a board game, whatever, he will hit your shoulder enough to move your hand and stick off the puck.
Yes.
Right? It's clinical hits rather than big time, like lay you out on the ice, Dion Phaneuf style.
Otherwise known as a hit.
Right.
Like the way hits are tallied is so dumb. But it's supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's like making body contact that removes the puck from your opponent.
Right.
Now, this is a little different on account of the puck is long gone.
Right. Now,
it is real close to interference, but it's holy shit. He breaks that man in half.
No, Jesse.
Look at how much bigger he is. Holy shit.
Jesse, I've got the other play that I wanted to highlight for Max Pacioretty here, because he is, he's the one on the line that hasn't scored in the last 2 games, and they've had crazy opportunities.
I don't think he gives a shit.
No, I don't think he cares either. But he does little things, and they highlighted this on the broadcast, and Tic Tac Tomar had it on his Twitter. I'm like, I'm so glad he had this, because I wanted to freeze frame this. The protection, and you'll see William Nylander go and score a goal after this. Watch, if you just forward this a little bit, if you can jump forward. So there's Actually, further back.
Back?
Yeah. So watch the way Pacioretty is defending. He's got 2 Kraken in on him, and he using right there. Eberle's behind him. He's using his ass.
He's also using the lines.
He's also using the lines, but he's using his butt to be like, no, you can't. And Willie's going to catch up. And then if you go right to like towards the 4 or 5 seconds in the future here, you're going to see him push it forward. The Seattle defenseman sort of overcommits, and he's able to get it past him as well. And then Nylander jumps in and takes the puck.
I think it was something Mike Johnson brought up. Like he just sort of set up as a tripod. Like one thing when this line was put together, I'm like, okay, who's doing the work though? And I wasn't familiar enough with Max Pacioretty's game. Apparently, like I didn't know he could grind like this. It's a player who can change what they do entirely is going to last so long in this league. We talked about Corey Perry. That's him. He was Hart Trophy guy. He was lead your team in scoring guy. And his transition to third or fourth line bane of your existence has been the stuff of legend. If Max Pacioretty can have a similar renaissance as, you're no longer, you might score 30, but you're no longer dependent on for it. If you're just a half a point a game, maybe a little bit above that battering ram, and you're not costing your team dumb penalties, you're not a defensive liability. Every team in the league needs that.
Look at the Luke Renaissance.
The Luke Renaissance.
You know what I
That's
mean?
so good,
right? Like look at how his life changed in Vancouver, and then Tampa Bay, Vancouver, and then Toronto, and then he goes and signs that gigantic contract in Nashville, which he deserves and has lived up to.
Something about Vancouver makes a defenseman go, all right, I got to get my shit together. and with Luke Shen, it was there. And with OEL, it was, okay, I never want to go through that again.
Yes. Tavares, when he is on the ice this year,
oh my God,
the Leafs have scored 11 goals. They have only allowed 2 5-on-5.
In 11 games.
And that's a guy that
stuff.
We were on 6 days ago of like, what the hell? What's going on here?
Like, I think overall, like even when we were dumping on him, he was a positive. That's not enough. Being a positive is not enough. If he's not performing, the whole team falls down. Like all of a sudden it's easier to key in on the top line. It's easier to just shut the whole offense down, which puts stress on the defense, which puts stress on the goalies. When he's performing, at least during the regular season, which we're currently in, they're a really difficult team to beat. If the Leafs have 2 lines going, that means you have to have at least 2 lines going. And not every team can stack their first 2 lines up against what the Leafs have. Mm-hmm. They're in a good spot.
Matthew Nye scored his 6th in 10 games.
Goofy.
Or is it 11? Doesn't matter.
11
games. Yeah. And then immediately the TSN panel goes to, so what's his next deal look like? Which I respect. Darren Dreger said it'll likely be a bridge deal. And listen, I'm sure that someone in Nye's team tipped him off to that, and that's fine. But guys, I do want to say, I'm going to keep bringing it up until it's true. Remember how I told you Jake Sanderson money for this guy? Would that be so bad? I think more Dylan Guenther probably.
Yeah, what's like,
Sanderson's 8, I think, and Genther's 7.
But also his agent's not going to walk in there and be like, my power forward client is the same as Jake Sanderson. Like
you're going to use Guenther.
The comparable is going to be Guenther.
Yeah.
Right? So it sort of depends on what he does. Who I'm pretty sure was pretty pissed about the Alexis Lafreniere extension was Matthew Nice's agent. Like, oh, fuck. I got to go in there and argue that my client's better than Lafreniere?
And you can't.
Yeah.
And I think if the deal is $7 million, I don't know what the cap looks like next year for the Leafs, but if the deal for Nice is $7 million over 8, I think you do that deal.
Okay, I don't want to be this person. Mm-hmm. It might be a bit difficult to conduct long-term business when you have Marner and Tavares hanging over the franchise. Like, those are 2 very, very, very large decisions.
Yeah.
that need to be.
Yeah, I think that's why Nyes will have to wait.
I think you get Nyes done regardless.
Oh, do you?
He's that good. He's disgusting. They haven't had a player like him in a very
What if
long
his management's like, nah, it's okay, we'll wait?
That would probably be the smart thing to do, and don't show them this show. Please. Do not.
Now, the Matthews goal towards the end of the game
Oh my God.
is worth revisiting.
Oh
but
my
I would
God.
like to, gentlemen, and Jesse, I have this in our text chat here. I would like to revisit the plays that led to the Matthews goal. Because the Matthews goal on its own is crazy. The geometry, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
But there is some commitment from his line mates, and I'm going to use that word, commitment, that I have not seen the Toronto Maple Leafs do simply in this generation.
Well, you know what it was? And it's not something we've seen from the Leafs very much in the entire Matthews era. Babcock did this. Keefe did this. It would be two members of the top line plus guy I trust. Because the top line almost always featured guy I don't trust. Like, for example, the Leafs have a lead in the third period. Do you know at some point, 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 8 minutes left, sorry, Michael Bunting, you're going to ride Pine or play on the third line. And guy I trust
Is going to come up.
is probably Kerfoot or like someone else is going to take your spot. There's a few minutes left in the game. The Leafs are defending a 2-goal lead. And I'm like, that's just the first line. Isn't that so lovely and refreshing?
Now,
Look at that.
What you
There's
can't
all
see
three
here,
of them.
You've got a puck against the boards. And one of the things, Jesse, you've mentioned this, and they were mentioning this over the training camp, is board battles. Berube loves to practice these, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you got Mitch displaying that right there. Like, he's working real hard to get this puck, and Matthews coming up for support to grab it.
Yeah.
And he kicks it loose.
And this was really great work. And Mitch, believe it or not, you could see two Seattle guys on him, and he's pushing them. They're moving back. He's moving forward, which is crazy.
There's a tenacity and a willingness to use his body in Mitch's game this season that has not been there before.
And so, Jesse, if you could fast forward this a little bit to when the puck squirts out, and I want you to watch not Matthews, because Matthews does help Mitch dig this out. Gord and I think that's McCann are on him, and Matthews, Marner, board play. Can you imagine? Matthews gets it over to Nyes here. Now,
Yeah, Nyes is, hey, pass me the puck guy.
Yeah.
Out of those three.
Now there are 5 Leafs condensed into that spot, but there are 5 Kraken too, so it's just the way the play went. But if you look at what Nyes does next, watch 23 here, because Seattle actually gets control of this puck, and look at what Nyes does.
What does he do?
Uses his body and pushes the guy over.
He's a truck.
So the guy has the puck, and I don't know what the guy's name or number is. I can't really tell. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, because Nyes is engulfing him.
The puck is turned over to Seattle at the blue line. Jordan Eberle is right there. If you can get the puck to him, it's a one-on-one, but they can't because Nyes goes, I'm going to run you over. And then that allows Matthews the room to carry it across the blue line and shoot. And if leading up to this, and I think this is important context if you missed the game, Nylander had tried several times to get his hat-trick goal, but the Kraken were all over him. And I was like, guys, this is getting ridiculous. Just flip and score. And then the Kraken scored and wrecked Wall shutout.
Now, a lot of people were getting on Nylander for that.
No, you try to get him. Yes.
You try to get him it, but also if you don't want that to happen, you don't put Domi out there with him.
Yeah, because Domi's going to be like, that's my guy.
Domi, shooting never crossed his mind.
Yeah.
It's Domi.
Yeah.
He's going to try to get Willie the Hattie.
Absolutely. And then, because he's a great teammate, and then
it's not a criticism on account of they won.
the reason
it might have turned into a criticism if they didn't.
The reason that that puck was even in the zone where Matthews and Marner had to dig it out is because 20 seconds before that, Matthews had a chance to clear and he didn't. And so that part, the commitment to capture the play again, Mitch pushing 2 guys along the boards, Matthews going in, helping him out, actually giving the puck away, Nyes crushing a Seattle player at the blue line, and you could see it, and then Matthews, and then we'll talk about the bank shot. I will let you guys take the bank shot. I just think those two at least needed a little bit of a shout out before we talk about geometry.
I mean, it's an empty netter, and you don't want to overly be like, oh my gosh, and fawn over an empty netter. The huevos, the balls to be like, I can do this. This is a good idea.
Look at where he's looking.
He's not close to the center ice line. This is going to be icing, and it's going to be icing with probably a minute 40 to go in the third period of a 2-goal game.
After a hard shift, too.
That is easily a scenario you could screw up. And teams have screwed up this season in recent memory. Not only does it go in, it goes dead center of the net. He's worked on this. This is something, no, I'm serious. Like, this is definitely something he's tried. Like, just screwing around. Because he knows he's going to be out there in these scenarios, and there are going to be times where this is just straight up a practical thing to do.
Well, it was there.
It was, yes, this was not a hope and a prayer. This was a highly skilled, highly prepared player scoring a sick empty netter, as sick as an empty netter can be. Adam, you watched it in real time. What was your reaction?
I was like,
what the hell are you doing?
yeah, I thought it was icing. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. Jesse? Also?
I don't want to burst your bubble, but every NHL player could do that. If like set in practice. It's like NBA players, like if you ask them to make a half-court shot outside of a game, every NBA player could do it.
Well, this is in a game.
Yeah, that's the impressive part, that he did it mid-game, but the idea that everybody on the ice couldn't bank
Logan
a puck
Stanley
in,
cannot do this, Jesse.
100%
Logan Stanley cannot do this.
100% he could.
No, he
100%
can't.
he can't.
If you sent Logan
Matt
Stanley...
Rempe cannot do this.
Yes, he
If Matt
can. No, he
Rempe
can't.
showed
Yes,
up to
he
your
can.
beer
He's a
league,
professional hockey player.
if Matt Rempe showed up to your beer league, he'd be ripping Michigans.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
To beer league.
That's what I'm saying.
talking about. Can you do it during the game?
Yeah. No, the idea of doing it during a game is fuck. It's wild. Like, all credit to Matthews, but like the idea of being able to do it, like
In a game. In a game.
Okay.
He did it in a game.
Yeah. No, it's
Every preseason, someone shows me highlights of Ben Simmons hitting threes.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah,
every
exactly.
regular season, he doesn't friggin' do it.
Exactly.
Okay?
He also has to play games. So
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
So, well, there's so many games. But I don't know. Like, I can't remember a player ever doing this.
Matthew Nye said that Austin Matthews told him he aced geometry, which I loved. Good
Word, Matt. Good
quote.
word. College. There's that college.
And there was a clip floating around. I don't know if you guys saw this, of Tavares giving Matthew Nyes shit for being on his phone all the time. And he's like, he doesn't have a whole lot going on upstairs. And he starts laughing. I was like, oh, John.
Yeah, hey.
John?
He's always on his phone. He's probably playing the Minions game or something.
It was.
But enough clowning around.
It was a game where the Leafs got to take advantage of the fact that Seattle were missing their best two defensemen, and they're two of the best defensemen, Montour and Dunn.
They didn't
that
look
you can
very
get.
good.
They didn't look very good. But the back to sort of what I was saying, that keyword commitment. There's a commitment from this team, and I know that there's probably a little work to do on the third line. The power play is second last in the entire league. But I feel like the wheels are turning again. And I want to ask you guys what you saw, because I felt, at very least, the power play switch up where they started Willie and John's line. It looked good. It didn't score.
Yeah, the power play that went out, what was it, middle of the game-ish, they had a Max Domi post and a play where Pacioretty had his hands in the air because he thought he scored. So
yes,
there's definitely positive momentum there where they had two almost goals, but at the end of the day, they didn't score. And if your power play is bottom part of the league, like that's a serious problem, because that can sink you, not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs. You know?
But I thought power play goals didn't count.
No, they still count as goals on the board. Like, you can just spam the power play. It's a thing you can do. So I'm still concerned. Like, it needs to turn around fairly quickly so it doesn't become a part of that really tanks their regular season here in terms of just putting up points against opponents. But there's definitely, last night it looked a lot better, and having Willie run that first group where everything kind of ran through him, it really worked. And then that second group was a lot of fun. Having Matthews just out there second, like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Glass half full. for them to have their current record and be scoring the goals that they're scoring and their power play completely sucks, it's kind of encouraging. It means they're doing good things at 5-on-5. And I mean, I feel like it's probably more likely that the power play at least somewhat figures it out.
Yeah. But after last week, like, I'm not willing to let go of the bar of standard of play for the Leafs, because the St. Louis game should have been your get right game, and then you lose to Boston on that. And like, the bar for them has to be, you're dominating the regular season, and we're seeing you play great hockey all year long to get into the playoffs. And from there, that's the momentum. So like, okay, you have this good win against Seattle, but let's keep fixing all these issues.
Yeah. I'm a little bitter. I mean, I'm happy they won the last 2 games, but I'm a little bitter of the Leafs getting outplayed by Boston and losing to them. And every headline about the Bruins since has been about how much they suck.
Yeah.
Oh man, and we're talking about them next. They're bad.
Oh, I know.
It's bad. And that part, I think the Boston Bruins, as an aside, are kind of the Leafs boogeyman. That's pretty obvious, and they're gonna have to figure it out. Whether or not they do figure it out is completely up to them. They have to, though, because I don't think Boston's sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic forever.
I think just making it about the Leafs again, like,
we should.
I think Jesse's. You're probably looking at them like you're not as good as people say. You're not as bad as people say.
Yeah.
So last week we were really shitting on them, and because last week went terribly, this week has gone pretty well. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Right. But bottom 2 power play is unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Crazy.
You can't have that.
It's like 8.4% or something. It's
There's
really bad.
30 teams better than you? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Who's the
30?
The Ducks are better.
Who's the team below them?
Let me look that up. I had that up on Quant Hockey here.
Guaranteed it's like a good
Don't go too deep into it, Jesse, because I have some other stuff on the power play later on that I'd like to talk to. Sabres.
Oh,
Sabres
never
are at
mind.
6.9%.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's right. The Ducks have more goals on the power play than the Leafs do. Don't show it. Don't show it,
Yeah,
please.
take that. Yeah.
I'm going into other things on it, guys.
You're lucky I can't see shit.
Gee Willikers.
Yeah, the Caps, who are fucking right above the Leafs in 20. What are the Leafs? You said 30th or 31st? So
30th.
The Caps are 30th.
31st.
They're 7-2.
That's right.
Like, we're getting some teams who are doing really good at 5-on-5 and nothing
it's
at
the Caps.
5-on-4.
Guys,
The Caps
that's the
power
fucking
play?
story I wanted to get into later. Both of you are blowing the Washington Capitals story right now.
So, Jesse,
Jesus.
getting into the Caps.
I said, let's not get into it because I knew you'd look at the Caps. Hope in every step. It's a walk to end violence against women in just a few days at Burlington City Hall in Halton, Halton Women's Place, and over 350 community members will walk for hope in every step, standing in solidarity with women and children overcoming abuse. This walk is more than just an event. It's a powerful movement of hope and change and resilience. They need your help reaching their goal of $25,000. That's the goal for the thing. Every dollar raised directly supports women and children at the Halton Women's Place, which is the only place in Halton for women that have experienced.
Every time you say that, it shocks me.
Yes.
That there's just one.
Yeah, because
Like,
Halton's
that's
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halton's not a small region.
Yeah. So your support is a lifeline. And with your generosity, they can ensure that every step gets them closer to a world where every woman and child feels safe, supported, and empowered. As we said, the only women's domestic violence shelter in the Halton region in 2023 that had over 2,000 calls to their 24-hour crisis line and supported over 160 women through emergency shelters. So this is a huge, huge deal. You can check it out. There is actually a link in the description of both the videos and the audio here. So if you want to donate, check it out there. It's hope in every step.
So,
You want to go to the
getting
Caps?
into
Do you guys want to talk about the Caps?
Yeah, why don't we just talk?
Okay, because they're a wagon. And what's interesting about the Caps, I did a little deep dive. Yes, their power play is bad, really bad. They're 9.4%. So they've had same amount of goals as the Leafs, but only 32 opportunities, where the Leafs have had more. So they're doing it all at 5-on-5. Penalty kill is top 10, but goals for are in the top 10, and least goals allowed, or goals allowed, however you want to look at that, is also in the top 10. And what's interesting about the Caps is you always, if a team surprises you, go, what's their PDO? Now, for anybody that doesn't know what PDO generally, it's basically sort of like a luck filter.
Yeah, it's an imperfect stat, but it's your save percentage, your team save percentage, plus your team shooting percentage. They should add up to roughly 100. If it's a little above, all right. If it's a little below, all right. If it's completely out of whack,
Like 107%.
then that means you're lucky as shit, and that's probably going to regress. If you're at like 93, you could probably count on luck swinging back your way a little bit.
What's interesting, though, about PDO is people talk about PDO benders. The thing about PDO benders, and they exist, is they can last an entire year.
We've seen it.
We've seen it happen. Saw it happen with the Colorado Avalanche years and years and years ago.
Leafs?
Yeah, the Patrick
in
Roy
Leafs.
year.
2013.
Yeah, absolutely. PDO benders that last the entire, but the Avs one is interesting because they went the entire year, 82 games. The Leafs one is like a half season coming off of a lockout.
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing here with the Capitals is that despite a terrible power play, a pretty good penalty kill, this is a really, really good team, and they are leading.
PDO. What did you say about their PDO?
PDO's 101.
Oh, okay. So it's
really-
it's not one of those teams.
Yeah,
it's not
okay.
No,
Right.
and their points percentage is actually tops in the division. New Jersey's played 5 more games than anybody else because of the Czech series. So they are currently tied in points percentage for the lead in their division, which I think is, I mean, listen, the Caps making the playoffs last year was an absolute miracle. It took the Flyers to just fall off a cliff in the last few games, and the Penguins to just be like, okay, we can't play Tristan Jarry anymore. He stinks. And we can't score in the power play. The Capitals snuck in there. But this team seems better. And sneakily, Dylan Strome and Connor McMichael, the better Mick, they're having great years.
Well,
So like Dylan Strome's got 13 points, Ovechkin's got 10, Connor McMichael's got 10.
I'm happy I'm doing this and not Adam, because maybe this will give it a little more credibility, because people think that you're just out there to kill the Penguins. But the Capitals are always going to be tied to the Penguins. The Capitals sort of rebuilt on the fly. They're way younger than the Pens.
Way younger.
Their important parts are way younger than the Pens. So look at it. Like you said, Dylan Strome, 2015 draft, journeyman, but he's doing crazy.
Mm-hmm. And he was good last year for them, too.
Yeah, former 3rd overall pick coming into his own, 13 points in 9 games, like you said. Rumors of Alex Ovechkin's demise has been greatly exaggerated. 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 9 games. Connor McMichael is tied with the exact same stat line. There's a young guy coming into his own. Alexi Protas, 9 points in 9 games. There's another young guy, 2001 born, coming into his own. Tom Wilson with a clean bill of health, 8 points in 9 games. John Carlson, older guy, 8 points in 9 games. Then there are some guys where I'm like, okay, is this going to last? Like TVR, 6 points in 9 games. That's a pretty crazy pace. But would you look at who's been downright useful? 1 goal, only 1 goal, but 4 assists for 5 points in 9 games. Pierre-Luc friggin' Dubois. I know Chychrun has been really well liked in Washington, and he's done a good job
He's
there.
now hurt, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. He just got hurt. But Dubois, the mission for this season isn't to make him an $8 million forward. Pump the brakes. The mission is to make him more useful than he was in LA. The bar is so low.
Get him out of the 4th line.
5 points in 9 games. It's a step in the right direction. Big time. Big time. And all of a sudden, look, Dylan Strome, who led them in scoring last year, look how much better he's doing because of a little depth up front. They did a lot of great things this summer. And they've been doing a lot of great things.
Well, they took chances, though. These things could have gone horribly for them.
Well, Mangiapane's a project, and he hasn't exactly been incredible. But this is a team.
But you go and you sign Matt Roy. You outbid the Leafs for him.
Yeah.
Pay him more than the Leafs were willing to go.
You changed up what you are in net a little bit. This is a team that's been. They did the right things this summer, but they've sort of been doing the right things for a little while now. And Ovechkin is eventually going to retire, and they'll live. It'll change their identity, but we're not going to be talking about them like, oh, they're fucked now.
It's not going to be a Chicago or a San Jose bottoming out in the same way.
What is the...
Or an Anaheim.
I hate to keep going back to them, but when when Letang and Malkin and Crosby finally leave town, retirement or otherwise, it's going to be a dust bowl. What the hell do they got?
Well, let me throw this at
Washington's
you.
doing the right things.
The Penguins-Ducks game last night drew 14,945 fans at PPG Paints.
In Pittsburgh?
Excluding COVID-19, the lowest attended Pens game ever at PPG.
Oh, shit.
And that's because they had lost 6 straight at home. Now, they won last night, and it was exciting.
Good.
But
And it's the Ducks.
it's the Ducks. But, Nedeljkovic had to make some crazy saves. I don't know if you guys saw this. I should actually show you this.
The Ducks they're not sad like they were a couple years ago.
They actually have a better record than the Penguins do.
There you go.
But Jess, let me show you this. The Penguins at one point.
They're better. I should stop talking about them.
Listen,
Suck.
Crosby's goal was crazy last night because he stole it off Cutter Gauthier. And just to give you an idea of where Flyers fans are at, they were posting a Crosby overtime goal celebrating Cutter Gauthier.
Oh, wow.
And
they
I was
hate
just like-
Gauthier more than Crosby?
Sorry, celebrating Crosby over, they hate now Cutter Gauthier more than they hate Sidney Crosby. It's a grudging respect for Sidney Crosby.
I mean, what else the Flyers fans got right now?
Yeah, it's a little rough. It's looking a little rough. But look at
tough.
this. I just want
It's tough in the Metro.
Yeah, listen. They also got, I think they got destroyed by Anaheim last year. Leafs can relate to that.
Yes.
Have a look at this line change. Count how many Pittsburgh sweaters are on the ice currently.
Oh, my God. 1, 2 is... Oh, that's the camera. I was like, what the hell is that thing in the high slot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
There are 8 Penguins on the ice.
What the fuck is going on in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
And why do I only see 3 Flames? What happened here?
That's not Flames. Those are Ducks.
Ducks, my bad. Sorry, the New Jerseys, I haven't gotten used to it.
Yeah.
They do look like the Flames.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not great.
Oh, Pitt, what are you doing? What
Now,
are you doing?
Pittsburgh severely outshot the Ducks. The Ducks played, I mean, they're not that great, right?
Every year, there's 1 or 2 goalies who every night have to face 75 shots. And last year, it was Mackenzie Blackwood and Lucas Dostal. And this year, I think it might be the same 2 guys. It's definitely Lucas Dostal. Man, this poor guy. I saw a clip online recently. They're like, is he a top 10 goalie in the league? I don't know about top 10, but like severely underrated player.
I wouldn't be looking at his save percentage as a thing of how to compare him
Saves
to other goalies.
per game.
It's not fair.
It's got to be up there.
I also want to say that I checked in on it, and there were no other major games going on in Pittsburgh as far as I could see, because they have universities and stuff in and around. Sometimes that can affect attendance, especially if a team's not that good.
I mean,
but obviously no Steelers game, and
What is
obviously
that?
Pirates are not playing, and
was that like 4,000, 5,000 short of a sellout?
yeah. And I mean, listen, you've lost 6 straight. Pens fans aren't stupid. They know this team isn't going anywhere.
No, Pittsburgh's big problem is they have really smart hockey fans.
Yeah.
That's I think the biggest problem the Penguins face.
Yeah. Now that Crosby goal was unbelievable.
He's despicable. He's still despicable.
He's the best player ever at his edge work.
Yes.
I don't think it's like even comparable with any other player who's ever played in the NHL. Like that dude knows how to work his skates. It's crazy.
I hate to ask this question again, guys, but I know it was super cool to see Crosby delivering season tickets.
Don't
and
do it.
How long before he gets tired of this?
No, don't do it.
Sidney
What-
Crosby,
no!
the best, according to Jesse, the best edge work in the history of the NHL. Best to ever do it. Best to ever do it. Got to be captain of Team Canada.
Yeah.
Is playing to non-sold out arenas at home. It's like 3,000 or 4,000 less than capacity.
Mm-hmm.
How long, guys? How long are we going to do this?
Well, he gave us his answer. Like, he's willing to wait. He's willing to stick this out and see it through and potentially even retire there.
And that's great. But okay. All right. Listen, there's a lot of people trying to convince me this is going to happen, as in like he's going to stay there and they're just going to be bad and that's going to be okay. And they're just going to hang on to Malkin and Letang till the end of their deals too.
I don't know.
And
That's up to them.
Carlson's being snide to the media. Everybody's like, yeah, Erik Karlsson's such a badass. You've seen the man play? Have you seen what he's doing? Misses in the entire training camp, is all of a sudden good to go for...
Haven't seen him pivot.
Have you seen him give the puck away a million times?
Yeah.
It's not... Listen, I hate to say it, because I love Pittsburgh. I love the city. I love going. I've actually never seen a Pens game. You've been to a Pens game in the final.
Yeah, Stanley Cup final, the Benino.
You were there.
Game. Yeah. Oh, it was unbelievable.
But of all the teams in the league, I think structurally they're the worst, contract-wise. You can't move that Erik Karlsson deal if he's going to play like this.
Dubas hadn't even left the Leafs yet, and we were talking about this. I was like, who the hell?
So what's Dubas do? You know what? Let me make it worse. I'm going to trade for Karlsson, sign Graves, and extend Jari.
What we talked about it before he even got there. I was like, that's the hardest job in hockey, is figuring out the Pittsburgh Penguins.
So he's got a 7-year deal, and my question is, because clearly he was brought in to be the guy who rebuilds it.
Well,
when does that start?
His job is either be the man who trades Sidney Crosby, or somehow figure out how to rebuild the Penguins without doing that.
Right. And now
I think both things are impossible.
Was Crosby's extension 2 or 3 years, guys? Do you guys remember?
2?
Don't remember.
I don't know.
So like that's my question is
Yeah, it's 2 years, but he has to play through this season, right?
Right.
So it's like 3 seasons.
you want to tell me that this is going to continue for 3 more seasons? Graves unmovable, Jari unmovable,
I know.
Karlsson unmovable.
We've already
Sidney won't move. Malkin and Letang don't want to. What are we doing?
listen, it's way juicier and sexier to be like he's getting traded, but until he shows the slightest inkling that he's sick of this, it's just us looking at the situation and going, yeah, that's pretty shit. But all that matters is how he feels about it. And he's not ready to give up on the Penguins, which is kind of inspiring.
Yeah,
Kind of.
sure. Go down with the ship, I guess.
But he's trying to prevent the ship from going down.
Ship's
Right?
gone down.
It's
Ship's
not,
down.
It's not the captain of the Titanic nobly standing there as violins play. This is a guy, like, he's trying to plug the hole.
He's down there going, no, don't worry.
No. Towels. Like, he's trying, and it's not working.
Worth noting
Yet.
the major part of the acquisition for Jake Gensel was Michael Bunting. Had a great run with Pittsburgh, 19 points in 21 games at the end of the season last year, was averaging about 17 minutes a night. This year, he's averaging 14 and a half minutes a night. He's already been scratched. He has 1 assist in 11 games.
They need better defensive performances out of everyone. And little Easter egg earlier in the show, he's not a guy who can provide you with that.
And Sullivan doesn't like that.
I mean, no coach likes that. He can score. And the Penguins last year were sort of playing, we're just going to have to win 7-6. And so he kind of fit that. That's not going to work anymore. But again, who else? Like we were like, okay, so it's Beauvillier then? It's like a coming off of injury rust. It's
Kevin Hayes?
oh man. You know, it's
That's a lot to put on Kevin Hayes.
a lot, man.
Yeah. And the Riley Smith experiment didn't work out there. I think it's working out better in New York.
Where's Alexei Protas? Like, where's their version of that? Where's
That's Rutger McGorty.
Where's and
Who's
and,
skating-
where's he?
And he's not going to be in the NHL unless his skating improves.
Right? So where's Connor McMichael? Where's
What's the guy in Boston? Patras or
Patra?
Yeah, Patra. We're someone like that.
Like a middle of the first round guy who you just did a decent job on, and but how about a late first round? How about a second? How about who's coming up? It's a terrible situation.
Noel Achari was on, I believe, the second line the other day, which is not ideal.
And that's a player I really like.
I love Noel Achari. I don't want him on my second line.
No.
I love him. I wish he hadn't left.
No. Yeah,
What, Jesse? What?
No, that's a tough second liner. Yeah.
It reminds me of when Rob Klinkhammer was playing top line minutes for them. Remember when everybody was injured? Like,
shit.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. I mean, geez, he might be top line of the Avs.
Oh man, that.
Oh, you might be top line of the Avs.
Yeah.
Can I backtrack a little and just say my piece on the Washington Capitals?
Oh yeah, sorry.
He's not even top line on Raiders.
Did you have the save percentage of the goaltending?
No, I didn't.
Because that to me is the most indicative of why this team is a real wagon. Everything can change.
7-2 though.
We're still early in the season. Things can change. Things can go in different directions. But Adam, read out their 2 goaltenders, their save percentage.
Okay, let me just move. I'm on the Capitals website and I am.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, read it out.
No.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah, no, read it out. This is why they are for real, and this thing's gonna keep cooking. And Washington Capitals fans, you should be excited for a good season this year. Read it out.
Logan, I was traded at the autograph table. Thompson, 876.
Oh shit, that's Vesitoskala territory.
Charles III Lindgren, 882 save percentage.
Oh,
Both awful.
And their
What did
PK
you say
is
their
in the
record
top
was?
10.
They're 7-2. Awful.
Their PK is 10th.
But with that awful goaltending, you know what they're doing?
What are they doing?
Right now, goals against per game, 12th. Very reasonable.
what the fuck?
12th. Top half of the NHL.
What?
And the reason they're able to perform like this with that awful goaltending and get these great results is the shots against per game.
Yes.
Teams are only managing to get 24 shots per game against the Washington Capitals. It's number 1 in the entire league by a wide margin. It's because Spencer Carberry, I don't know how he had this in them. He's created this defense that's incredible at not allowing anything to get to the net.
Wow.
And that is a great recipe for success when you're able to win hockey games at a 7-2 clip to start the season with sub 880 goaltending and not allow any type of shots on goal.
So
this team's for real because the defense is for real.
Jesse, hang on. Let me just lead with this. Here's a stat.
Yeah.
Add
to it.
Their shot differential, I didn't even know this was a stat. This is great. Is a plus
10?
66.
So
They have overall.
over
overall,
9
overall.
games, they've had 66 more shots on goal than
Yeah, I believe it averages out to over 10. Like if you add shots,
7.33 or 7.33 is the average.
Right.
Carolina just is the top of them. Is the top of the thing. They're 90. They're a plus 92. But here's what's
Holy
interesting:
fuck.
the Capitals have allowed 217 shots this year. To put that into context, we got a significant following here in Southern Ontario.
Sure.
The Leafs have allowed 317 shots over that same amount of time.
Yeah.
100 less shots in 10 games.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Wow.
7. They're averaging about 31 on their end, and then they're allowing about 24. So every single game, every time they step on ice, they're going to get 7 more shots than their opponent. If that's sustainable, if they're
crazy.
able to keep this up and just keep playing the same systems that they're doing, which is, I think, one of the most repeatable ways to be a good hockey team is through defense, as opposed to like we have high scoring players. If you're
we've lived that.
right. So if they just keep this up, this team's gonna be high in the division, high in the playoff spot all year long.
I love you, Jesse,
It's great
because
stuff.
you're like, look at this hunk of shit goaltending. This is proof they're good.
Yeah, no, it is.
That was
No,
crazy.
But
You're
like
able
those
to win with garbage.
Well, I mean, and those aren't 2 garbage goalies though.
no.
Like-
Lindgren's like the whole reason they got into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Like, I think he earned a heart vote. Yeah, because they're dead without him.
Right.
Oh yeah, they were bad.
And people
Except for
forget too, they didn't make the playoffs based on points. They won the tiebreaker with the Red Wings.
Yes.
They both finished with 91 points.
Actually?
They just have more regulation wins.
Oh,
yeah.
dear.
So I feel bad for Red Wings fans, but like that's the only
don't.
reason they snuck into the playoffs last year. But largely Lindgren, who was playing really well, and like this year, I don't know what Carberry's doing over there. Like I don't know enough about the coaching staff, but they've cooked up something real special.
And
Realistically, they'll probably score a little less,
Yeah.
and they'll also allow a little less.
by looking at
It'll
the
even
stat,
out.
by looking at the stat though, I have instantly identified the Oilers' problem. They are second in the league in shot differential.
Do you have the chart facing the right direction?
I do. They are
Okay.
second in the league in shot differential. They're ahead of the Caps, behind the Carolina Hurricanes, meaning that the Edmonton Oilers need some goaltending.
Yeah.
They are not allowing a ton of shots in comparison to the rest of the league. They are outshooting opponents by an average of 7.6 shots a game. So maybe that's some of that structural defense, the types of shots that players are getting. And yeah, the Oilers are lacking talent on their back end, of course. I
No,
honestly,
that's- they
Timothy
got a
Liljegren
team-
would have made a lot of sense there. I can't believe they weren't interested.
They got
to be
a
honest.
Team Canada defenseman.
That's right. Yeah, play killing penalties, killing the play too. But I look at the Oilers and I go, man, if Stuart Skinner just decides to be a 900 goaltender, they're going to be fine.
And last
aren't
year,
any-
he woke up randomly in the middle of the season.
When did he wake up? What month was it?
For no reason. He was like, okay, I'll start playing good again. And hopefully, I think they're all just fingers crossed he does it again.
Was he
Woke
like
up at Chris
Mariah Carey?
Knobloch o'clock.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that would have been what, November?
Ish. Well, it was one of those things where he was horrible, completely horrible.
But so was Jack Campbell.
No, and then you're like, oh, his save percentage is above 900.
Right.
Oh, and then like the playoffs, he was unreal.
Yes.
I don't understand Stuart Skinner. Really difficult to read goalie.
Looking at the Oilers last night, we asked last show if McDavid being out 2 to 3 weeks and then potentially having to nurse an injury, we don't know specifically what it is or how long it will last.
Hey.
Would they wake up? And they sure did. Arvidsson got his first goal. He's not played well. Hyman got his first goal. People have been like, where the heck is this guy?
Unreal.
Oilers literally like commanded this game. And the Nashville Predators had been on a bit of a tear.
And Podkolzin.
Good fight.
Mink.
I didn't know he
Right
could fight
to
like
the
that.
forehead. I mean, was it a fight or did he just get one real good shot on Lozon? Holy shit.
Yeah. Leon Draisaitl continues to be Leon Draisaitl, in case anybody's worried. He's still pretty good at hockey.
Your poppy was hanging on by a thread.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, that's
this is
part
going
of
to be
life.
an ongoing battle.
You know what?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right. Just let it fall. I'll get
Just
it.
let it fall?
Yeah.
No, I
we'll do,
couldn't.
we'll do a
don't let
poppy
it
count.
fall.
Absolutely not.
Poppy count.
Poppy count.
Yeah. So yeah, I did want to shout out the Oilers. Now, let's talk about the Boston Bruins.
Oh.
Now, the Boston Bruins are interesting. And I'm going to rewind the clock. Boston Bruins, a couple of years ago, after signing him to an extension, Cam Neely, I believe, and who's the general manager?
Don Sweeney?
Don Sweeney was the guy who did it. Invited then coach Bruce Cassidy over to his living room and said, Bruce,
Invited him to his own living room?
you've done nothing but win games for us. Nothing but win games. But the playoff success is not what we need, despite the fact that you have just embarrassed the Toronto Maple Leafs in key games. I specifically talk about that. But if I want to go to, he lost in the first round, lost in the second round, lost in the finals, lost in the second round, lost in the second round, lost in the first round. So he loses in the first round, and they're like, you know what, Bruce, that record's shit. Get the fuck out of Boston.
Fuck off to Vegas and go win a cup.
Yeah, and he immediately wins a cup. Now they bring in Jim Montgomery. And Jim Montgomery is an interesting coach. This is a guy who coached the Dallas Stars, lost in the second round, and then he was fired midway through the next year, I think, or there was some sort of So, so then he was an assistant in St. Louis for a couple of years, and then he takes over the Boston Bruins. And at first, the firing of Bruce Cassidy looks like a really great idea because I remember that particular run going into the playoffs. Jesse said, and he was right about this, the Vegas Golden Knights are kind of mid at everything, but
Which is a great thing.
which is a good thing.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, they're decent in all areas.
But then Jesse Everett is like, fuck off. The Bruins won 65 games.
Yeah.
That's so many games.
That's a lot of games. It's a lot of games.
The most games ever.
Who cares who's mid at everything? What about a team that's good at everything? And then they go up 3-1 against the Florida Panthers.
Who were not the Florida Panthers of last year.
No.
That team was not very good.
That team became that team. And the year before, by the way, the Florida Panthers had won the Jack Adams. Not the Jack Adams, the President's Trophy. And Andrew Burnett had won the Jack Adams. And
He got fired.
And he got fired for winning that.
Or just not.
And then they just were not good. They had an up and down season and whatever. And Paul Maurice all of a sudden is their coach.
They got hot down the stretch.
And there was a specific game in Toronto where Keith Tkachuk got on the radio here and said, the team looks soft. And what did they do? They fucking pummeled the Leafs that night.
And
then they went on a run.
And I called it that night or that day. I was like, the Panthers are soft? They were never soft, but they were soft to the standard that they had set.
That's right.
Clearly. And your team's star's dad
Now,
who also happens to be a very well-respected retired NHL player, calls you soft, and Paul Maurice is your coach, it's going to make you feel some kind of way. They killed everyone.
That's happening. But no, again, no one's paying attention to that. That's just Toronto being Toronto. It's just the Leafs.
Man.
And you got a team that's on pace for history. They scored the most points in NHL history, most wins in NHL history.
Vezina.
They're up 3-1. They have a Vezina goalie in net, but he's injured. And he didn't play really well in Game 5, did he?
No.
But I guess, do you try him again?
Let's let him go.
Try him again. Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
This series is tied. And then they lose. And the Florida Panthers go on to the Stanley Cup final.
And they blow it late in Game 7, too.
Yeah, they did. Now, okay, fine. Shit happens. The team went to the finals. Whatever. So then they put up 47 wins, which is still really good.
And they had a better start.
Yes. And they've got those two goalies. One coming off of Vezina, this hotshot rookie from Alaska who's amazing. Well, he's not a rookie anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Young guy. And they go up 3-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. And the Toronto Maple Leafs win Game 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at Jim Montgomery like, you're not going to do this again. And of course he's not. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
If they lost Game 7, it would have been his last game as coach. I think he would have been fired.
But they lost definitively in the second round.
Yep.
The Panthers steamrolled them.
Smacked them. Yep.
This year, they are 4-6-0. One of those wins is against the Leafs.
Which is hilarious.
Which is honestly, that's a free spot.
Yep.
That's free parking for them.
Leafs got a point there, which I think is better than anyone anticipated.
Last night, they allowed 3 goals.
Maddie, you good over there?
Yeah, Maddie, you all right?
She just went, like involuntarily.
It sucks, right? Doesn't it suck? It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad.
That's so funny.
It sucks so bad. And everybody's like, why are you so hard on the Leafs? Oh, okay. All right, yeah, for sure. So then, after that, your Galaxy Brain general manager who fired the guy, the next Stanley Cup winning coach at his living room a summer before he went on to win it.
Did not get adequate criticism for it.
And has done other things that are sus. Then him and the management group, they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to trade the guy who won a Vezina trophy a year ago for Eunice Korpisalo, who hasn't been great. He was okay in LA when he was there.
Yeah.
Had a terrible year in Ottawa. And we're going to do it before we sign the guy of our future, even though he doesn't have a deal. Mm-hmm. And over about, if reports are to be believed, about $4 to $5 million over 8 years, the Boston Bruins made Jeremy Swayman sit out camp. And then all of a sudden, it was getting close to the end, and they said, "Fine, we'll give you your 8-year, $8 million."
Got into a very public spat with him.
Very public spat. And so your goalie, who you're relying on to play probably 50 games this year, has missed the entire camp. Mm-hmm. Over $5 million over the next 8 years. Sorry, guys, that's like $600,000.
It was. I think it was less than that.
That's peanuts.
Yeah.
Because the most they'd offered to that year was to that point was 7.8 over 8 million. And then they finished at 8.1.
According to friggin' Cam Neely, it was 64.
Well, they hadn't offered that yet.
64 million reasons.
And he signed for 66. Mm-hmm. Swayman missed camp. Hard to catch up after that. Now, the Bruins, it'd be nice if they played a little defense in front of him.
Right.
But he was pulled last night. That team let in 3 goals in under a minute against the Carolina, way better than we thought, Hurricanes. Did you know that?
Why do we keep underestimating that hockey team?
I know, it's pretty stupid.
Rod the bod, baby.
Well, we
Rod
kept doing
the
it with
friggin' bod.
So here's what happens in the first period. You got Roslovic, who's got 5 goals. Wow. And then on the power play, Marchand ties it up. And then with 3 minutes to go, guys, in the first period, you get into the danger zone of, don't let people score. Mm-hmm. Svechnikov at 7:14. Jackson Blake, close to Jesse Blake, relation.
No. 0 relation.
At 17:52. And that Marty Necas at 18:06. That is 3 goals in less than a minute. 2 tip-ins and a snapshot.
So that's what they're allowing.
That's what they're allowing.
Can we talk about what's going in?
Sure, please.
David Pastrnak, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points in 11 games. Pretty good. That's maybe a bit behind what you expect of him, but that's good. That's good enough to be getting on. What has everyone else got? Well, the second leading scorer on the Bruins, it's a three-way tie. Brad Marchand with 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in 11 games. Again, good. Probably a little below what you expect out of him.
But Brad Marchand's like 36.
Yeah. Tied with, yeah, you guessed it, Cole Koepka
Yeah.
and Mark Kastelik. Now, there's a world where you look at this and you go, Mark Kastelik and Cole Koepka have 7 points each in 11 games. These guys are probably steamrolling everyone. No one else is showing up. Lindholm, 6 points in 11 games. He's making a lot more than that. And he's also got the same stat line as John Beecher. At least your fourth line is clicking. And then beyond that, no one has more than 4 points. Mason Lohrei, Hampus Lindholm. Like, where are some of the... Okay, Brazo's there. That's good. Patra.
Where's Zaka?
Where the frig is Zaka? He's got 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points in 11 games. Morgan Geekie has 1 assist in 9 games. Charlie Coyle has a goal, 0 assists in 11 games.
Did the goal come against the Leafs? Because that would be poetic.
I don't think so, but probably.
Okay. In spirit.
No one's scoring. Other than the fourth line.
Well, and if they'd taken a look at Elias Lindholm's performance in Calgary and Vancouver last year, he wasn't scoring at the clip that he used to.
Oh, he can at least be a good two-way player.
Yes, but they needed scoring. And
for a team that so okay, they had their crazy goaltending tandem.
Yep.
They looked at that and they went, this is a luxury that we can no longer afford. We got to get deeper. They went out and they got deeper. Big money on Zadorov, big money on Lindholm, and it has not borne fruit. Borne fruit? Bared fruit.
I think either works.
They haven't gotten fruit from it. They have not been to the store. And I don't know how you fix, hey, no one's scoring.
Well, this is where it comes down to the two guys making all the decisions. It's Cam Neely and it's Don Sweeney. And we know that Charlie Jacobs has defended them repeatedly. And we know that the easy switch here is Jim Montgomery.
For who?
Exactly. Not ideal in the middle of the season.
Joel Quenneville.
We're all just waiting for someone to push the button.
I would assume somebody's going to do it.
It's happening this year.
Probably.
Like Jay Woodcroft will coach in the NHL again, but it'll be after Quenneville gets hired.
Well, if you want your team to score, he'd be an okay guy. But someone's going to push the button. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be them.
Just
Jim
saying.
Montgomery has won you so many damn games. You said they won 47 last year?
Yeah.
So 47 plus 60.
He's won over 120 games in the last 2 years.
There's
130, I think.
112.
112?
Over those 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. And then on
He doesn't get a little bit more rope?
I mean, what's standard though? How sideways can this go?
They miss Jake DeBrusk,
Yes, they do.
which is crazy. Can
Very
you imagine this conversation a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you fix that. You gotta fix it from within. And right now, no one outside of the fourth line for some reason has shown up. Mark Kastelik?
Yeah.
Like
I picked up Cole Koepka in fantasy this week just to
can't
run
believe
him
that.
out there.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've dropped him since, but he gave me a couple points, right? And listen, whoever's scoring for them, who's scoring for them?
I'm not used to talking about the Bruins in this way.
No, and listen, if they're winning the division by the end of the year, nobody's going to be shocked either.
No, well, this is what I said in the video yesterday. I'm like, listen, every point the Leafs get in the standings is a leg up on the Bruins.
Yep.
Do we all assume the Bruins are going to be there at the end of the season?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So that's why you got to rack up as many points now as you can. If Florida ends up winning the division, Bruins find their form. Oh, okay. You're on a collision course with them friggin' again. Would you rather have home ice advantage or not? I know you lost last time you had home ice advantage, but would you rather have it or not? You'd rather have it. Bank those points, baby.
Okay. Jesse, anything to add on the Bruins?
It's not great. Like, I don't think anybody thought they'd be in this position this early on, but it is early. And I expect the Bruins to turn this around, whether it's through firing a head coach or just them playing better. I expect them to be up in the top of the Atlantic playoffs race here, but being in last place on November 1st, I don't think anybody in Boston expected that. Right
Shocked.
now. Yeah. But last place right now, because the Eastern Conference is so tight, leaves you 2 points out of the second wild card.
That's
spot.
crazy.
You know?
That's so funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Wow.
We'll see. Definitely something to watch.
You don't try a trade before firing the coach or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just, he's done so much for you. It's like the same with Cassidy. It's like, shit. Like the first sign of trouble, you're gone.
Well, it's not the first sign of trouble. Like I thought Adam outlined it well there. This has been brewing. Like it's
Hey,
there's a lot of decisions that have led to this point, and we can't forget like what would have happened if they lost to the Leafs last May. Like he probably would have lost his job there, and the city would have been on fire because you're going out 2 years in a row blowing a 3-1 lead. Like that's unacceptable. Boston's never been in that position as an organization recently.
This happens so often. Where 2013, if Claude Julien loses to the Leafs, he's going to get fired. And they go to the Stanley Cup final. And last year, if Jim Montgomery loses to the Leafs, he's going to get fired.
The Leafs never let you down.
No, the Leafs, they'll always be there for you.
Who knows? It might have been Bruce Cassidy as well. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
The patience with the Montreal Canadiens of all places is wearing thin, and I think it's interesting. I want to read Arpin Basu. I just want a friend of the show, friend of the network. We love Arpin. Listen to this headline.
He writes a great diss track.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Bars. This is a blistering headline. Mm-hmm. The Canadiens' pervasive, nausea-inducing tendencies are starting to wear thin. Yeah, like poetry. So here's the quote that everybody's talking about this morning from, with Marty St. Louis. He said, we had the first period we wanted. The second was nothing. In the second, nothing was perfect. There were mistakes on both sides. And then in the third, we threw up all over ourselves. Very simple. and Arpin, let me read from this. And then I want to see if you guys can relate. Because we have been through a rebuild, gentlemen. We did it together. Mm-hmm. So here's what Arpin says. So about the vomit. And about Suzuki's desire for there to be no more vomit this season, because Suzuki said preseason, I'm looking forward to mistakes mattering again, because mistakes didn't matter as much last year. I want to get back to winning ways. Mm-hmm. And about the Canadiens, and about where the Canadiens are, vomiting consistently, allowing the most goals per game in the league, many of them as a result of that vomit. By the way, I looked it up. The Canadiens are currently allowing 4.27 goals per game.
What?
That's right.
They shut the Leafs out.
The vomit has been... Yeah, is Sam Montembeault still the Team Canada's goalie?
Oh, my God.
The vomit has been a defining feature of the Canadian season thus far. The same mistakes continue happening over and over again at inopportune times in moments in games. The Canadiens are trying to mature individually and collectively. They are not close to reaching that goal. So the Canadiens are blowing leads. They are missing assignments on the defensive side of the puck. There is a mentality question. Do these guys have the focus to win and close out games that they should win and close out? And I just wonder, as Leaf fans, is that a maturity thing, or does that become like an ethos thing after a while?
Sometimes with Montreal Canadiens stuff, maybe there's a language barrier here. Are you trying to tell me that there was an expectation that the Habs should be taking a step?
Don't do this.
And they're not?
Don't do this. Why are you referencing that specifically?
Well, because it's a good take I had that was right. that you guys didn't seem to like.
Not Jesse and I.
They're losing.
We were fine with it.
No,
right?
Habs fans got on you for saying that, hey, maybe they should take a step.
They're losing the way they've lost last year and the way they lost the year before. Why is it all of a sudden unacceptable? Because it's been a few years and they've gotten straight up better. They shouldn't be this bad. I don't think any of us thought they'd be this bad. Even if you had them last in the division, you didn't have them being this bad. Right? There's an at some point, you get all these players. Cole Caulfield's shooting the lights out right now. You get all this young talent. At some point, when you're rebuilding, your GM makes all the right decisions. When was the last time Ken Hughes made a decision we were like, that was stupid?
Never.
At some point, there's an expectation you take a step. Oh, this guy's out. Who gives a shit? The league doesn't care. It's not about me. Oh, this guy's hurt. The league doesn't care. Almost every team has guys out right now.
My favorite part about the Florida Panthers Stanley Cup celebration was Matthew Tkachuk going, we don't really deserve this. There were a lot of guys with injuries.
Yep.
On the other teams that we played.
Clay
I feel bad for them. I'm going to yield the cup to them because they were injured and it wasn't fair.
Yeah, my favorite part of Game 6 between the Warriors and the Raptors was when they delayed the rest of the game for a year.
So Kevin Durant could play?
So Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson could. It's not how it works.
You'd have to delay it for more than a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Based on their injury timelines. Yeah.
As a person, you can be a lovely person and pat them on the shoulder and make sure they're all right. And the league, the universe, doesn't give a flying fuck. Okay. Oh, damn. That's crazy. Anyway, says here there's a game tomorrow and you got to play. You know, you need saves. You need defensive stops. One guy scoring for you? Like a nutcase, scoring like an absolute nutcase. That's so good. That's so great. Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Who's number 4? It's a hard league. I expect this team to be very good eventually. Turns out they got a long way to go.
4.27 goals a game. I don't think I've ever heard a stat like
That's
that.
psychotic.
By the way,
that's 80s stuff.
For anybody saying that it's like, oh, well, they're a super young team. There's like, yeah, they are. But what are we in? Cole Caulfield's 4th season? Nick Suzuki's 5th? Arbor Xhekaj's played. Listen, a lot of people are on Arbor Xhekaj.
He's getting healthied.
He's getting healthy. He's also their 6th best, 7th best defenseman.
He's getting healthied on a decor that's
Thin.
not great. When is his transition to forward?
I know. He should be a 4th line winger.
I
That's
hate
what
it.
he does. That's what he should do.
Like maybe like he's guy who can play D in a pinch. You dress him like what do they have this weird hybrid 11-7 thing where he can play a few shifts on D and if you need he can be big scary guy on your 4th line. Anyway, we're getting lost in the weeds here. There comes a point in every rebuild where the losing stops being cute. They've reached it. It's not cute.
Just to update you guys on the Bruins, Ty Anderson, who is a reporter for 98.5 The Sports Hub, is reporting today that an email was sent out last night by Bruins media, like the Bruins PR team, that there would be a practice today. They're on the road at noon. The practice never happened. And so people are kind of they're both eyeballs on the Bruins right now.
Wow.
Just thought canceling practice is that's an interesting one. That's where you expect to see guys bag skated.
Losing, 8-2 to Carolina is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
getting outshot the way they did. Holy cow.
Yep. Yeah. So I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Wow. They haven't been like this in a very long time.
A couple of things before we get to the press conference. I think we should take note that the Winnipeg Jets, who lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back, stomped the Detroit Red Wings and basically won the game within the first 3 minutes. Kyle Conor, at the beginning of this week on Monday and Tuesday alone, had 7 points in 2 games.
He's doing slightly good.
Sneakily, can you guys tell me who the NHL leader in goals is?
Cole Caulfield?
It's a tie. Cole Caulfield's one of them.
Cale Makar leads in points.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he does.
He lead in goals as well.
Oh, sorry. Cale Makar does not lead in points anymore. Mark Stone does.
Oh, he got passed.
Yeah, he's tied, but they gave the tiebreaker to Mark Stone.
Is it Mark Stone?
It's not Mark Stone.
But Cale Makar's doing it through assists, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess Mark Stone is as well.
Caulfield has 10 goals in 11 games, which is really impressive. 1 assist.
10.
Selfish player. No,
Kyle Connor.
not Kyle Conor. 9 goals.
I knew he was up there. Let's see.
Dylan Genther.
Leon Draisaitl.
You ready?
He's been
Who is
doing
it?
really
Okay, so
well.
it's East Coast,
Okay.
New York, New Jersey. One of those 3 teams.
Jack Hughes.
Nico Hischier.
Nico Hischier.
Nico Hischier.
He's been unreal.
10 goals in 13 games.
He's been unreal.
That's crazy. I did not expect to see Nico Hischier's name up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a player a coach is going to instantly fall in love with.
Oh,
Sheldon Keefe is just like, Nico, come into my open arms. Listen, I think fans love a Jack Hughes. Coaches love a Nico Hischier. That's not a criticism of either player.
Yep.
You need both.
For the first time ever, and we talked about this in Agent Provocateur that came out yesterday with also Nashville Predators forward and first rounder from 2021, Zachary Leroux.
Hey,
Who, to that point, when they called him out this year, they had not lost a game in regulation. They went on a tear as soon as he got there. Now, they did lose last night in regulation, but pretty good run. The all 32 NHL franchises are worth over $1 billion. And the newest franchise is worth the 28th most or the 5th least, meaning Utah is not, despite being the newest, not the least valued franchise right now, which is
What does that
incredible.
say about the ones below?
well, I was about to say, so they moved up 4 spots?
5.
5, whatever.
I think that's impressive. And it shows a couple of things here. And then I'm going to ask you guys who you think the least valued ones are. It shows a couple of things. First off, the Arizona Coyotes, again, this is not a hit on the fans. I have to say that every time. The Arizona Coyotes were a drag on this team, on this league for 15 years.
Yep.
There was no way that they could ever be valued at more than $1 billion. And the league made Ryan Smith pay more than he wanted to, just like they did with the Senators.
Hey, what do you guys need? Everything. Like literally everything.
It cannot be forgotten what a failure this was on the NHL side and how this depressed revenue and owner value. I'm surprised the owners didn't get on Gary about this earlier, because you're talking about a 29% jump in the league. And you look at a guy like Jeff Vinik, who bought the Lightning for $93 million in 2010. He has now seen an almost 20 times value jump. He sold the team at a $1.8 billion valuation.
Why didn't we just buy an NHL team?
Well, you have to remember 2010. That was after the biggest financial crash since the Depression.
No, money hack.
And
buy an NHL team.
If you'd had $100 million at that point, you would have been one of the rare few. Damn. Right? You would not have had. Not many people had that kind of money. A lot of people lost a lot of money back then. So,
Damn.
Utah sits in 28th place. Name the 4 teams below them in value. And some of this is market size. Some of this is neglect.
Oh, Columbus.
Columbus is the least valued team in the NHL.
So, okay, here's
And they still jumped 20%, by the way.
here's how bad things are there. You said some of this is market size, some of this is neglect. So market size, I'm going, okay, could it be this thing? This is the second you said neglect, I go, oh, Columbus.
There's another.
That's bad.
There's 2 other neglected teams. One still currently neglected, and one no longer neglected on this list. And then one team that's just market size.
It can't be the Sabres.
The Sabres are 30th.
Well, really?
Yes, that is neglect. Now, they saw a 26% jump, but the Buffalo Sabres being in 30th in terms of team valuation, I know Buffalo's not a crazy money town. It's not huge.
No, but they love hockey.
That is a guarantee. If that team is first round eligible, it's a guaranteed sellout every night you make your money.
Shit.
It's insane that Buffalo is that low, and that comes completely down to the way ownership and the general manager have decided to go about business. They've seen some improvements. How many more towering defensemen are you going to draft before you realize you got to score goals?
I really hope Winnipeg's not in there.
Winnipeg is, but that's market size. Winnipeg is. And I think what's good for the Jets is that their value went up 19% year over year.
Okay.
And there's one more, formerly neglected.
Formerly neglected. That's interesting. Pacific?
No.
Interesting.
East.
Formerly Islanders?
No, think market size and think neglect. Neglect means what? Bad owner.
Pittsburgh?
I was gonna say Panthers
No.
for their.
No, the Panthers
down here?
they're jumping a lot year over year.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess 'cause
Ottawa.
now. Yeah.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators, who are up 20%
You know what?
every year.
So we talked about Columbus. Isn't that a sign how good things have gone in Ottawa? It took us that long to get there.
Yes,
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that team as a catastrophe in quite some time.
because they're not.
They're not.
All right.
They're not.
I thought that was interesting that Utah jumps into the league and is instantly at 28, and I think here's the crazy part about this, guys. Compared to where the Coyotes were last year, this is the jump, okay?
Okay.
Compared to where the Coyotes were last year on this list in terms of valuation. Now, I know there's a recent sale to help jump these numbers.
Sure.
But the value of the Utah Hockey Club, because they have an arena, because they're selling well, because they have good players under contract, a couple of them are super injured, and that really sucks. They jumped 78% in value.
Wow.
78%. You want to tell me
Hundreds of
that it
millions
was a
of
good
dollars.
idea to give... So Arizona, it should have been done
Yeah.
in 2012 when the league had to buy them. And then they should have moved them and then gone back. We would have a new Coyotes franchise and a new building at this point. If they had just moved off this when everybody said, move off this team, put them literally anywhere.
Yeah. Something about planting a tree 20 years ago. You're right. You're totally right.
But so everybody that ever said it, anybody that ever said it, who had any tweet that said, no, you're wrong. You're right. And I think it's important to recognize that, not to dunk on Coyotes fans, to understand why the NHL was so hardcore about staying here. It cost the owners money. They had to buy the team. Every owner at one point, because you're an owner in the NHL, had to fund the Coyotes directly or indirectly. All of those payments that they have to make, the Leafs, the Rangers, the Bruins, all these rich guys who are like, hey, I got a rich team, we're making a lot of money. There's those equalization payments. Where are they going? They're going to Arizona.
And the point of those payments is, hey, we're all in this together.
Yes.
And this is to help you do well. This is to help you thrive. And they had no interest and or ability to do that.
And the NHL brought in two brilliant owners. Bill Foley and the Kraken ownership as well. So Bill Foley owns the Golden Knights. I forget the names behind the whatever.
Bruckheimer and
even at that same time when the Thrashers left Atlanta, the Thompson family and the Chipman family, who still own the Jets today, are great owners. They're great owners.
Yeah.
As I told you, they light money on fire every year over year. But the value of the franchise keeps going up, so that's why it makes sense to stay in the game.
Well, it's 700,000 people. There's not a shitload of corporate out there. There's not a huge...
The Jets are
area.
a community team, and the Jets fans get out there and support. I get that.
And in Seattle, it's David Bonderman, Todd Lewicki, and Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
They're the Seattle hockey partners.
And
How
there
many
is
Lowickis
there
are
is an Amazon connection to that. I mean, obviously,
They just have the naming
building.
rights to
just
the
the naming
stadium, yeah.
Okay.
And there's, I guess, some investment there through that.
So I just think it's absolutely bonkers that we have seen the NHL go Bill Foley, you're the guy. And then Jerry Bruckheimer, oh yeah, you could be the guy. And then monorail salesman, you can be the guy. I just don't know. I mean, Alex Murillo in a sales pitch must be the most compelling person you've ever met. No. The guy should run for president. I don't know how he pulled this off.
No. Okay.
And he walked away positive.
Let me cut off my friend. He should absolutely not run for president. We do not need him to run for president. No, Adam, listen.
He put his kid in charge of the social media. His kid was the VP of marketing.
You're not wrong.
What?
I am not detecting a lie. Wait, let me scan you.
Sorry.
There's no lie. No lie there, okay?
But the TV market.
No,
TV market.
I got to climb over this chair.
You're right. Sorry, go.
What we should be getting from this is they did a good thing.
Yes.
Now, it's after 2 decades of doing a bad thing.
Yes.
But I think we know that. And we're here now. It's eating a meal and then talking about how hungry you were.
But that's not fair. Because why were you hungry?
I know.
Because you refused to buy food for 15 years. That's why.
Yes.
It's not my fault your fridge was empty. It's your fault.
But here we are with a full belly. We're feeling good. You even burped for the first time in a while. That's because you got food in your gut. Listen, I think what should be taken from this is positive things.
Yes.
It's also in part, I cannot do the Alex Murillo talk again.
I know,
Yeah.
but I just think I got to talk about. I had to say it.
Every time you bring up Alex Murillo and say he was a bad owner, you're right.
Thank you.
It's not about you being
That's all
wrong.
I need to hear. The Leafs, by the way, are the most valuable franchise in the league. They have a year-over-year, and there's a sale to back this, year-over-year increase of 38% in perceptual value. The Bruins went up 50%. The Kings 45%. The Oilers 51%. The Islanders are up 49%. The Stars are up 49%. If you look at the entire league, the worst that they did in terms of franchise value increasing are those 4 teams. The Senators at 20%, Sabres at 26%, Jets at 19%, and the Blue Jackets at 20%. The entire rest of the league, guys, jumped at least 30%, and in most cases, 40% in value in the last year because of this Utah move.
No, Adam, there's something.
Come on!
There's something to be learned here, okay? For all you millennials out there, what are millennials? 23, 24? For all you millennials out there, stop buying your avocado toast.
Yeah, save your
Starbucks,
money.
save your coffee money. And go out there.
Who's spending $1 million on coffee? Buy yourself a house.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and buy a National Hockey League team. All right? Get off your ass like my father did and buy an NHL team.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
All you 23, 24-year-old millennials.
Anyway.
Oh, my God.
I just thought that was worth mentioning.
We got a millennial here in the studio, and Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Where's your share in an NHL team?
Millennial?
No, she's Gen Z.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You're
It's
a
a
millennial.
fucking joke.
Yeah, but the jokes doesn't apply.
That's the joke!
Oh, gosh.
Hey, you know what? Millennials don't do any work. Like that NHL ad. Or Gen Zs. That's
You know what? Comedy's so dead. Am I right, fellas? What happened to making jokes?
That one didn't land.
Like,
with
here,
me.
can you let me list some of the jokes.
You did pretty good up until that point.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Then he started yelling at the Gen Z about being a millennial, and I
Yeah.
was like, where are we going with
I
this?
thought it was funny. Here,
It is funny in retrospect because it's very boomer.
Here, wait, let me go through my act. All right, here, I got 5 minutes on Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So, here, wait, what? What?
All right.
What?
Should we do the press conference, Jess?
Sure.
Let's do it.
The Presser.
It's a good career move, right?
The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Some of my best friends are Bad Bunny. Sorry.
All right, we'll make this quick. We'll just do this one thing. But Natalie Drake. If you've ever been to an SDP live show, you've met Natalie Drake and her father because they are seemingly always there. And I don't know how they get around, but they must have some sort of teleportation machine to get
think
to
it might
every
be a
one of
car.
our. No, they must have some sort of teleportation machine to get to every single one of our
No,
live events.
we've seen them west of Yonge Street. It's impossible.
By the way,
Yeah.
I love that they do that. By the way,
Oh,
It's always
yeah,
nice to see them.
just unbelievable people. But weeks ago, many moons ago, at one of our live events, long before Adam Wilde brought it to the table, Natalie and her father said, you should bring something to the show. And I've been holding back because Adam brought up his stupid, hey, I saw this on Bleacher Report and it's really cool, let's do it thing. And I was like, I'm going to hold off till a moment where we get far away from that and we get to do this. It's the Conors. So Adam, if you remember recently, a couple weeks ago when the season was started,
Connors who have scored
you talked about Conors.
and there were 4 before Connor McDavid.
And there was 4 who scored.
And Connor McMichael could have done it too. But anyway.
Cool, fun. But they had said something very interesting, and it's that they were able to build a whole NHL team with Conors.
That's crazy.
Now, the best I could do, I got 2 goaltenders, 2 D lines, and 3 forward groups.
Oh my God.
Plus 1 spare in the forward group with only Conors. And you guys don't have this list.
Okay.
I have it in front of me. So that's the best I could do with current NHLers. I don't know if their team included ex-NHLers or guys who were like retired long ago.
Okay.
But I was able to do it with current NHLers, 3 forward groups, 2 D pairs, 2 goaltenders. Adam and Steve, combine your brains, get out your marker.
Okay.
And we only need one. Okay. Write down your team and see if you can either pass me or at least tie what I've created for a team.
We got
McDavid.
So yeah, talk this through with the audience so that they
Brown.
can follow along.
Oh yeah, McMichael, Brown, Connor Brown. Dewar. Good one. Now it's all spellings of Connor.
So we get you can do a Conor and a first name, a Conor and a last name, a Conor with an S, a Conor with 1 N, a Conor with 2 N's.
Kyle Connor.
You can get any type of Conor in there as long as somewhere in the name it features Conor.
Timmins. On D. In net, Ingram. Ooh, who's the second one? That's going to be tough. All right. McDavid, McMichael, Brown, Dewar, Kyle Connor.
You'll need at least 9 forwards.
Who were the 4 Connors that scored in Edmonton beforehand? I can't.
Son of a gun.
We'll need at least 9 forwards, plus I had a spare forward, so I had 10 forwards. You guys got, what, 5 so far?
Isn't there another Connor on Edmonton who we're forgetting?
Brown.
No. Like one that we're forgetting. Wasn't it like 3? They have Josh Brown. No, but that's the Brown.
You already have Connor Brown on there, right? That was an easy
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy, we've hit a bit of a wall.
Yeah. You guys,
We did good. We did good. We had 5 forwards, 1 D, and 1 goalie.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's.
Connor Zary.
Oh.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Sorry.
Yep. Forward. Yeah.
Forward. Yeah. I'm going through like divisions
I
here.
gotta watch more Calgary games.
They're fun. They're fun.
Not anymore. They're on a 4-game losing streak.
Oh, never mind.
Calgary after
You're not watching a lot of them either.
Apparently,
Calgary
not
after
the
their
last 4
hot
games.
start. They're right now. They're 5-4-1.
Yeah. They've been.
Like-
They're now as bad as they were good.
Yeah. No, I pay attention.
Timmins and Dewar. I'm trying to think of a Connor in Ottawa.
What about like does O'Connor count?
You know what? If we want to count O'Connors, I can finish my team.
Okay, Logan O'Connor.
I think that should count.
O'Connor.
I should.
Yeah, he's a forward. but
He's a forward. Okay.
I can.
You're gonna need more space on this board.
Yeah, you wrote way too big.
Here. Put the D there.
Get
Put
your
the D there.
Get your other whiteboard if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put the D on it.
That's a great. I forgot the O'Connors. That adds
There's
2 to my list off the top of my head.
Who's the other one? Logan O'Connor and
I know you guys need the other.
son of a gun.
Okay,
Andrew
so
O'Connor?
I have a full forward.
Drew O'Connor? No, wait.
O'Connor.
Kyle? No. Logan O'Connor and Drew O'Connor? Who's the one on Pittsburgh?
I'm just gonna tell you, it's Drew O'Connor.
It's Drew. Yeah, okay.
I don't want you.
Put times 2.
Yeah.
Times 2.
Just put 2 O'Connors because I was missing 2 guys, and those 2 add to my forward group.
two,
So
three.
you guys need 4 lines.
We need 4 forward lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do.
We need 4 more forwards.
You need
5
12.
more defense, 1 more goalie.
Yeah. You'll
No, 4 more defense. 4 more.
How many do you have?
I have 1 defense.
Yeah, you need 3 more.
3 more.
Yeah. You need 4 defense.
We're over half. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Montreal.
Michael Connor? Is there not a Michael Connor? In
No, there's McCarron, Michael McCarron.
Yeah. The O'Connor thing, that's probably how they got their full lineup. Great thinking.
Okay. Rangers. Lafreniere, I'm not getting one. It's not coming to my head.
it's going to be on like Carolina or something.
Islanders. Hurricane. Yeah, I feel like the Hurricanes could have some Connors.
Any on the Florida Panthers?
Connor Burns. Connor. Could the Panthers have them?
And what about the Lightning too? Who's their new
Connor Burns?
No, I was joking.
Are you just
I'm joking. Oh, Jesus, Adam. Hellebuck.
There you go. Those are my 2 goalies, Hellebuck and Ingram.
yeah.
That's a pretty good tandem.
One hell of a tandem. Yeah.
Hey, this guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Jesus. How did I get Ingram before Hellebuck? The frig's wrong with me? I think it was because we got Kyle Connor and then I glossed over it. Philly? They must have Connors.
I think they've got a Connor there.
That feels like a Connor place. The place to have them. Minnesota feels like a Connor place too.
Yeah.
They had Dewar. They don't anymore.
This is not a bad team, by the way.
It's really not.
The Connor team would be a playoff team.
The all Connor team.
Easily.
If the Connor team was at the World Cup of hockey, would they beat some of Europe?
Like the old one?
How many national programs would the all Connor team beat?
A lot.
Bedard.
Oh,
Idiots.
Jesus.
You guys are stupid.
I know.
Sometimes you reach a block and then you're like, I can't.
You reach a mental block. How long do people scream Bedard
So
out?
that's 3 full lines we have.
That's crazy.
And so through some Googling while you guys were doing this, I do have my 2 extra D that are missing, but they're made up of guys who are not in the NHL right now.
Oh.
So you could do that if you really wanted to go AHL. You can get 2 guys who played recently but aren't NHLers, and then you could probably fill out the Connors.
Connor Shen.
Connor Sheary.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Oh, nice. I was kidding. There's another forward.
yeah.
Oh,
No, keep just making up names, and then maybe you'll stumble on something.
Connor Smith. Connor Campbell. Connor Marashnichenko.
Gerslevskers.
You put down Corey Connors,
Wait, isn't there a Corey?
professional golfer,
Oh, shit.
Canadian.
Is there a Connors?
How do we feel about Charlie Conacher?
No.
Damn.
Oh,
No. I know.
Is there a Connors?
Oh, there might be a Connors.
there's a lot of Connor.
That's not one I can think of. Okay. Oh, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I have no Connors on my list.
Okay.
The only Connors right now Googling, there's a Bob Connors who played for the New York Americans in 1926-27.
This is great. I love this.
Are there
you go.
Connors hiding on Utah? Such a forgotten team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What about Mick Connor?
Who's Clayton Keller? No. Mick Connor?
Yeah.
Cooley.
Jim Mick Connor?
Hayton.
Barrett Mick Connor.
Logan Connor Uli.
Logan Connor. Yeah.
Logan. Oh, man.
Logan O'Connor's a
You know
guy.
what?
He's already on your list.
Why don't we just call it?
Do we have to call it?
Oh, you're gonna fail?
No, we're not gonna fail.
I'll give
We
you
did pretty good.
1 minute of brainstorming. We're gonna hit.
We need a defenseman. Connor.
Yeah, you
I
guys.
know.
You guys are struggling with the defenseman.
Defenseman's weird.
Who do you have?
Connor Timmins.
How is that the only one?
Yeah.
No. Think defense. Think Connor. Think defense.
Frig. Like anyone on the Blues? Sod and Shen.
It's harder than you think when you're put on the spot.
It's terrible. It's like Krug, obviously not.
You're missing a former Leaf.
Connor Carrick?
Oh shit.
Put him on.
Oh no.
I forgot he was still playing, but he is.
He's in the AHL right now. He has played no games this season, but he's in the system of
There's also a former Connor. Is Connor Carrick not in the
You're thinking of Sam Carrick, aren't you?
Yeah.
He plays for
That's what I was
who's Bakersfield?
Oh, the Condors.
Edmonton.
Edmonton. There you go. So yeah, Conor Carrick's with the AHL team in Edmonton. So
He's a nice guy. I liked Conor Carrick.
played with the Coachella Valley Firebirds last season. One game with the Bruins
Seattle.
in 22-23 is last time Conor Carrick played in the NHL.
Shane Wright,
But he counts for the purpose of this game.
Matty Beniers. Who the hell do they have on D?
I don't know. Let's just call it.
All right.
Ah, damn.
Let me just pull up. Who's the
Taking
one
that
guy?
long with Bedard and Hellebuck is
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jail.
I'll read out the names.
Give me what you got.
have.
Give me what you got.
Okay, so we got McDavid,
Yep.
McMichael, Connor Brown, Connor Dewar, Kyle Connor, Connor Zeri.
Go a little slower for me.
Sorry. McDavid, McMichael, Connor Brown, Connor Dewar, Kyle Connor, Connor Zeri,
How's it? Yeah.
Logan O'Connor.
Logan.
Who's the other guy?
Drew O'Connor.
Drew O'Connor.
Yeah.
Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Connor Sheary. Okay, that's the forward group.
That's almost an entire
Here,
forward.
yeah.
Who else did we miss?
And then you got Carrick and
Timmins on D.
All right, and then Hellebuck and Ingram. Okay.
Yes.
So
we're missing 3 forwards, 2 D.
I think off the top of our head, that's pretty good.
pretty darn good. My forward group, I think of the missing. You guys are only missing 2 guys in the forward group.
Oh,
I had Garland,
Oh!
Connor Garland, and Connor Geeky.
Fuck.
Oh, and then I deleted the extra guy I had.
Jail.
My bad. Okay. And then for the defense, Connor Carrick,
Yep.
Connor Timmins, Connor Murphy, the Blackhawks defenseman,
Okay.
Connor Clifton.
Oh, yeah.
where's he now? Boston still?
I believe he's a Boston. Bruin.
Okay.
Yeah. Connor Clifton. So there you go.
That's it?
But yeah, that's the full 4 forwards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 is McDavid, Connor, Zeri, Bedard, Dewar, Brown. Those are the first 2 lines. Third line is Geeky, Drew, and Logan. Fourth line, McMichael, Sheary, Garland.
Yep.
That's 4 lines.
That's crazy.
Forwards, Connor, and then we did the 4D, and then Hellebuck and Ingram. And then if you really want to stretch, you could do Connor Kokarin, who was drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights, still plays in the EHL right now. Like there's a guy who's not in the NHL. And then there's Connor McKay, I believe, who played a couple years ago with the Rangers. If you really want to stretch for 2D, you could just go to the AHL and pull 2 Connors. But like, it's really 2 pairs of Ds, a full forward group, and 2 goaltenders, all Connor.
Man, that was a lot of fun.
That's fun.
Dylan McConnorath.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out Natalie Drake and her father. That's a fun
That was
game.
a fun game. I enjoyed that game immensely. All right, listen, we hope you have a fantastic weekend. Steve will be streaming tomorrow night as the Leafs take on the St. Louis Blues, and hopefully this time they do a better job for Chief. Don't we? We think so, right?
Yes,
Right?
his return to St. Louis. Completing the season series. Really early.
That's what we expected.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.